Okay, we are
Oh, we're gonna.
live. Welcome back to another live stream, everybody. Today we're going to be having a little back and forth about Israel. Go ahead and give us, your stance. Should I just refer to you as Ra, or what should I call you?
My name's Nick, or Nicholas, Nick for short. And my stance currently is I will find throughout this argument and this debate or conversation that we will come to agreements on most topics, but specifically on the topic of Israeli and American involving in relationship, we will become to differ. As I am not a Zionist, I believe that the US should stay out of Israeli conflicts and that they are inherently not beneficial for the US government.
Are you talking from like a financial standpoint, or are you talking more from like a military standpoint, or are you talking about like everything all above?
Well, I was going to hit multiple different topics. Intelligence standpoint, from a security standpoint. Yes, military, economically. Yeah, I would touch on both of those topics.
Let
And
me
our political system itself, specifically talking about like our politicians and foreign influence.
I'll just start off with the financial aspect because there's a lot of different ones that. What's up, Josh? Welcome to the stream. There's a lot of different things that you just mentioned, so I'll just start with the financial aspect. Israel is the top number 20 and number one investment into American industries. They currently employ 255,000 Americans with their foreign money. They invest 55 bill or they we have a trade surplus with them. So we buy and sell stuff with Israel. We profit $55 billion a year. We do give them a $3.8 billion a year like amount of money that they can spend only directly on our military goods. It has to be 100% spent on our military goods. No other weapons can they buy from any other country. It's only from America. And they upgrade these weapons, and they have to give us all the upgrades and capabilities that they develop with our weapons. They have to give us all their military secrets. They have to give us all of their information about their military and military technology.
Well,
And then we
I can I
profit.
con
Go ahead. Go ahead.
can I conflict? Can I congest that statement itself? For example, I would bring to the as a reference point, I'd bring to the example former CIA agent John Kiriakou, and not only that, but previous other former CIA agents who come out standing saying that they do not have great relationships with the Israeli intelligence agencies, and they constantly spy on the CIA. They constantly spy on the U.S. itself, and these are CIA informatives themselves saying that the Israelis spy on us constantly, and that we are told, and that the CIA operatives are told consistently not to spy back or intervene with this Israeli intelligence operations. And this shows a strict dilemma because we are giving them almost everything. For example, but Trump himself made it very clear when he went to go visit Netanyahu during the hearing that Netanyahu was asking for all types of weapons, military weapons and such on, and he was just giving them bluntly to them. And I believe that to be a security not only to our intelligence but our military bases, because we shouldn't be able to give away our intelligence of our aircrafts and such on our prized possessions so easily to an ally that has multiple hiccups with us, for example, like the US Liberty, which was
You said
another
a
one of my
lot.
points that I
You
wanted
said
to
a
go to.
lot. Yeah, you said a
Yeah.
lot already. Can I respond? As far as
Yeah, of
Israel
course, of course.
spying on us, that's just one specific CIA or FBI agent. I think I've heard of the guy that you're talking about. I tried to look him
Yeah,
up,
but
but I
there's
couldn't.
multiple.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, but
multiple,
he
if you
made
want
a
me to.
claim. He's made a claim in the past that the U.S. has never had any kind of spying on Israel. We had a joint
Can you show that?
operation. Yeah, well, the guy.
Wait,
Yeah, you can
you
pull up the podcast clip. You can pull up the
yeah, can
podcast
you
clip.
show that? Because he said it consistently that yeah
He said
that the Israeli defense has spied on the US
Yeah,
multiple times
but
inconsistently.
are you familiar with Operation Anarchist?
Yes, vaguely.
So we basically also spy on Israel. The United States and the UK spy on Israel. So it's a thing back and forth. And as far as what's a negative thing with our relationship, they have spied on us. We're spying on them. We're spying on every country. This isn't just with Israel. Every country tries to spy on us, and we try to spy on every country. And we have spied on Israel multiple times in the past. And just one FBI agent saying his opinion that we don't have a good relationship. This was like a long time ago. He's not even an active duty FBI or CIA agent. So the
Yes,
thing with
and
that,
the reason for that, that we actually have verifiable proof that he was a CIA agent was because the reason why he was actually kicked out of the CIA or was even put into jail or arrested was because he went out and exposed to the press that the CIA was um, breaking the Geneva Convention. And under the Biden program, he was put in jail for telling on the government about them breaking the Geneva Convention and their torture had capabilities and things that were going on. So we do have verifiable proof that he was within the system, which gives him credibility to his statements. And he's not the only one. I can pull up other ones if you would like me to, but that will take me a couple seconds. But
okay,
you can
well,
continue.
obviously obviously the currently majority of the CIA and the FBI, have different opinions than him. If our CIA and FBI had the same opinions as him, then we wouldn't be having a relationship with Israel. But I still don't see why another country spying on us when we've actively spied on them for decades would be a negative thing. I mean, we do it to all countries, countries do it to us. I just don't see that as a negative thing. And if you want to talk about U.S. liberty, I mean, okay, we've had multiple friendly. How many people died in World War II from friendly fire from Germany, France, all these other countries where people
Yes,
shot at us and
but
we had friendly fire?
that's I feel like I
The
feel
only
like
difference is that
yeah, yeah,
U.S. liberty was an accident. We got reparations for it. The families received millions of dollars. They got lifetime wealth. And also, we put a boat into the middle of the Middle East without notifying any of the surrounding countries. So whatever happens to us at that
we
point is kind of just
we
negligence.
well, the point that you said that we didn't notify any other countries, even the sailors that took it to the Supreme Court, of the actions that happened on the USOV, the survivors that took it to court, they made it well known and documented that they showed in every capability that they were a U.S. allied ship. They were in a non-combatant situation. They showed these things, and it's in the court case. If you would like.
The only evidence they presented was the boat was flying American flags, and plenty enemy vessels have been known to fly flags of allies to try to sneak attack other countries and other nations.
Yes, but
And
even the logical concern.
U.S. Liberty was 60 years ago, by the way, and that was a completely different time and a completely different government. So I don't really think that's even modern, or I don't even think that's relevant to our modern conversation about Israel.
In 1967, that's not too
It
far from now. As
wasn't
for example, that some of the people that, huh? Go on.
my mom and my parents weren't even alive back then, so it's
Well,
pretty
even
long
then,
ago.
that's yeah, you would say yeah, it is pretty long ago, but it doesn't just take away that the fact that it happened. Um, if someone were to, for example, Japan with Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which I believe were necessary activities to happen. I don't have a problem with them happening, but those are still things that send shockwaves throughout their tradition, their history, even to this day, even though it happened during World War II. And Lord knows, most of us are not alive. None of us mostly are alive since World War II, but it still sends shockwaves through their tradition and it structures their culture and their society and their
Yeah,
policies to this day.
but you're comparing a nuclear bomb to a small a vessel attack. It's
Though
not
it
really
wasn't
comparable.
necessarily, it is comparable because I was talking about the effect. I wasn't talking about
What
the
effect does it
necessarily
have?
what
There is
happened.
no effect.
The US,
The
the
families have
US Liberty, when it
generational
got,
wealth.
well, it still sent shockwaves and bad relationships within the military themselves over the Israeli and American allies. So it still has an effect,
What's
especially
the
after
effect? What's the effect?
bad relations or a
We
harm or
have good
strain to
relations.
the relations.
We make a
We
lot of money
have good
from Israel.
relations, but that was a strain to the relation.
I agree, but we make a lot of money from Israel today, so I don't really
Okay,
know
so
what you
there
want us to
was an
do.
effect. You just agreed that there was an effect from the
Well,
US Liberty.
the effect is people
It
constantly
strained
bring it up and try to point it towards like it
the
being a
effect.
bad thing.
Wait, but you just agreed that there was an effect to the US and Israeli relationship due to the US liberty situation. Although there was repercussions, for example, slavery. Slavery, there was repercussions, which we can talk about that because there's a very niche topic about that. But which some cases I don't believe there should be repercussions in some cases. But yeah, there was repercussions, but there still was a strain between the two people, even after the sense, even hundreds. Um, 20, 30 years after. So there still was a strain, although that strain even nowadays has died down because of how long it was ago. During that time, there was a strain between the relations of what happened. But that's not really my main point. My main point was that the Israeli and American alliance is only going to bring the US economically and on its power scale, world scale, lower.
But it's literally making
And
us money.
can
We have a
ultimately lead to the
55.
US.
I already told you though. We have a
Is
$55
that
billion
accounting? Is that
trade
count? Wait, is
surplus
that the? Yeah, but is that accounting for how much? 55 billion, right?
a
Is that
year,
correct?
every
55
year.
billion.
That's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
including
yeah.
the
Yeah,
weapons. That's
55
not even
billion.
accounting the
Wait,
military
hold up.
that they purchase. Go ahead.
Okay. Wait, hold up. That 55 billion is probably less than 1% of the debt we've accumulated just from the Iran war or the Iraq war that we were dragged in from the
Do you have any
Israel and
evidence?
Netanyahu.
Wait. Do you have any evidence
Yes,
that
we
we're
do. Wait.
what
Yes, we do.
evidence? There is literally no evidence.
Netanyahu. Wait, hold up. Yes, Netanyahu made multiple congressional hearings, multiple Congress and congressional hearings
Because
on
why?
Iraq
Well, he was
and
asked to.
Iran, claiming that Iran and Iraq had nuclear capable weapons or
He said they might have weapons of mass destruction.
yes. And these are what the claims were.
But the
And for Iran
Matt, you know why
specifically
we went
was the
into Iraq?
capabilities of having a nuclear weapon.
The
Wait, hold
main
up. Wait, not
I've
even
let you
that. They
talk
were claiming that
nonstop.
we
Can I
had.
respond?
Okay,
Can I
yeah, go
respond to
ahead.
that? Because
Yeah,
I've
go
let you
ahead.
talk and talk and
Go ahead.
talk. The main reason we went into Iraq
Go ahead.
was mostly because of 9/11. So even if we weren't going in for weapons of mass destruction, the main reason we went into Iraq and Afghanistan was to fight terrorism, the war on terrorism. It wasn't just to look for weapons of mass destruction. Weapons of mass destruction might have been the thing that kept us over there for a little bit longer because we kept telling people we needed to find these weapons of mass destruction and search for them. But the initial reason that we went over there, the number one reason why soldiers were signing up to go over to Afghanistan and Iraq was because of 9/11. That was the main reason people went over there because we were fighting a war on terrorism. And yes, obviously we know these radical Islamic countries have been trying to build some kind of weapons. And I've heard arguments before of people saying that the weapons were moved out of Iraq or Afghanistan and they were moved somewhere else. We really don't know what was going on. But as far as him controlling our
Well, okay.
military and make us go into Afghanistan, there's no evidence of that because we were already going to go in
I
there
never said control.
regardless.
Okay. Well, you conflated my terms. I never said he controlled it, but I said that he vividly voiced for us to go into these wars. And not only that, that's accounting for his consistent lobbying with political affiliates.
What
But
lobbying?
specifically
What do you
for
mean
Iran,
lobbying?
lobbying,
Yeah, what do
like
you
the
mean by that?
APAC lobbying,
APAC receives
like
$0 from Israel.
the APAC. So are you going to deny that APAC is a entrusted or a lobbying group focused on funding Israel beneficial policies?
Well, they're pro-Israel, they're pro-Israel advocacy, but that's only because
No.
Israel makes
Is
us a lot of money. They don't take orders from
wait, no, no,
Israel.
no.
They're not a
No,
foreign
no,
lobbying
no, no.
group. They're not a foreign lobbying group. Do you
It,
understand the difference
they
between a foreign lobbying group and a regular lobbying group?
is a group. Let's just refine this real quick. Is a group that is advocating or their basis or mission for lobbying to benefit Israel's policies within America or benefit Israel by promoting or lobbying for policies that will benefit
What
Israel,
policy? What
not helping.
policy? What policy?
I just said they lobby. They
What
lobby,
policy?
meaning
I
they
just
are
asked you,
giving
what
out
policy?
donations.
What policy? They're not
Obviously,
controlled by
what
Israel. They're not funded by Israel. They don't talk with Benjamin Netanyahu and get orders from him. None of that stuff is true. And as far as
Okay, continue
as
talking.
far as
I'm gonna pull it
APAC,
up.
no, as far as APAC, I don't understand your big deal. If we're making $55 billion a year in profits from Israel, on top of the $200 billion we made from selling them weapons, what's the big deal?
The big deal is that the money that you're talking
And
about,
as far as Iran, we were going to go into Iran no
it's
matter what because we have. I can bring you up the
no, we
scenario.
weren't.
Yes, we were. Kamala Harris, out of
We
her
were.
own words.
Show
Kamala Harris.
show me
Kamala
show me
Harris said,
one. Kamala Harris wasn't elected. And not only that, but show me one reason or show me one event that was going to drag us into the Iran war.
"Operation Stealing the Reality."
Besides, what?
2023. Operation Stealing the Reality.
I'm not familiar. Can I search this up?
Yeah, go ahead. It's when Mossad raided Tehran. They found hundreds of thousands of documents confirming that Iran was trying to build nuclear weapons and target Israel and America. We also got in 2023 when Biden put 5,000 Marines over there into the Strait of Hormuz to fight against the Houthis and stop any possible naval blocks of the Strait of Hormuz. We have we have multiple instances. We have 2023 where the supreme leader said that he has nuclear capabilities and that he can build a nuclear weapon. We have Operation Praying Mantis. Since you love to talk about U.S. Liberty, let's talk about Operation Praying Mantis. They blew up one of our ships back in the day. They sunk the entire thing. Like I can just go on and on and on, but when the supreme leader of Iran tells you that he has nuclear capabilities and that he can build a bomb, what else are you going to do? This is not a questionable thing. The supreme leader
Where
said
is
it
the
out of his own
statement?
mouth.
I don't see the statement of the supreme leader of Iran saying that he can build nuclear weapons.
Pull up ChatGPT or pull up Gemini and look and type it in.
Well, I wasn't using ChatGPT or Gemini. I was
Okay, just
searching
Google
them up
search
like
it
the
then.
actual document.
Google
Okay,
search it then.
supreme leader.
And by the way, the same people that did the JCPOA have literally admitted that they had 87% enriched uranium. What do you do with 87% enriched uranium other than build a nuclear bomb? Is there something about it that I should know that you do with it? What else do you do with 87% enriched uranium? I know. I'll give you a minute. I'm just curious, chat. Anything else that you do with it? Hello? You're muted. You're muted. He ain't talking. He's doing something. What's up, Dershawn? How you doing, brother? I'm just debating this guy about Israel and in the Iran war. Oh, what's happening? Does he have to go? He's leaving? I mean, when the supreme leader of Iran literally tells you that they can and will build a nuclear bomb, is that not a viable threat? Operation Stealing the Reality, the Mossad went right into Tehran and found 100,000 documents of nuclear plans to build a nuclear weapon. Is that not evidence of them trying to get us, of them trying to bomb either America or Israel? That's what they found in the documents. The documents don't lie. And it's always U.S. liberty, U.S. liberty. We got reparations. They gave those family victims millions of dollars. Mistakes happen all the time. Look at all the friendly fire in World War I, World War II. Look at the friendly fire in Vietnam. Even friendly fire in Afghanistan. I mean, we can keep going on and on and on. Afghanistan, Iraq, friendly fire, World War II, World War I, Vietnam. I know what you guys are going to say. Oh, how are we going to trust Israeli documents? I mean, if they were trying to, this was all the way back in 2018. 2018, we just ignored this basically for years and years. I'm sure our FBI knew about it, but we didn't make any attacks right then and there. Is he coming back? You there? You're still muted. Not to mention, we were having conflict with Iran way before Israel was even thinking about getting involved. This is like 47 years of conflict. And like I said before, we make over $55 billion a year trading with Israel. Are you coming back, my guy, or what is going on with your camera? Can you turn your mic on? What's going on here?
I was texting you. Yeah, I'm coming back. Just a quick second.
Did you look up the operation? Okay. Okay, you're good, you're good. Can you just turn your camera off though? Because that's hella, like, that's nuts. Yeah, thanks. If anyone wants to debate, you guys can join the Discord server. Honestly, I don't understand the hate for Israel and the Jews. That's what I'm trying to figure out here. You back?
All right, it
I
looks like I am just for a little. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Did you see about the
So
operation stealing the reality? Did you see what the supreme leader said?
yeah, I seen a Modern Institute a recovering of it, but it doesn't show any documents or anything like that. It just yeah, it doesn't show any documents like that. It's just
Did
like
you read
it's by
about what it
John's
is?
yeah, but it's by John Spencer. It doesn't show any like proof that it's like that they actually found this stuff, anything like that.
So
And
basically,
I'm
you're just gonna
searching it
say
up
it's
right now.
fake.
Well, I'm not saying that it's fake, but I'm saying that just because a leaker says that, oh, we found undeniable proof or something like that
There's way
of
more than
these
one
capabilities of
leaker. It's
John.
like public information. Maybe not all the documents are
Yeah.
available because
Yeah,
they're classified,
that's what I'm
but
trying to find because you made the claim that this proof or the statement or this thing was found and I'm
I mean,
trying
it's
to
well
find those documents
recognized.
of those proof. Yeah, well you're saying it's well recognized, but I'm trying to find where it's so-called well recognized or not even that it's where it's so recognized at or but where they're getting it from. And I'm not going to say no it's false because
They're getting it literally from
obviously
the
due
Mossad,
to
one of the most powerful intelligence agencies in the world.
but that's the thing here that's under criticism here. What would hold back from Mossad? What would hold back Mossad from lying to the U.S. saying that they did find these documents, but instead they didn't,
Because this was
or
in
they fabricate
2018.
documents?
This was, well, 100,000 documents fabricated. What's stopping these guys from the
Yeah,
FBI and
that's where I'm trying to
CIA
find
lying to
these
you?
hundred. Wait, hold up. That's where I'm trying to find these 100,000 documents. Now you're
Well,
saying
did
a
you?
100,000 documents. I'm trying to find where these 100,000 documents
I'll
are.
send you the
Where
source.
are they?
I'll send it to you. It
Yeah,
seems like a
yeah.
little bit hard for you to find sources because when I looked up,
Because I can show you my screen.
I did a quick search. I said Iran's
Yeah.
supreme leader says we can build a nuke. It says right here, Iran's leadership has repeatedly stated that the country has the scientific capabilities to build a nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
They've said that
Can you send that to me?
repeatedly. Yeah, I
Yeah, did
sent
you
it to
send
you
that?
already.
Oh, it has
And
a link with it. So let me look at this link.
it's a Reuters article.
All right. So I'm looking at this link real quick, but while I'm looking at the link, and I'm not gonna say that you're wrong or anything like that. If I can't, find anything, I will concede to the point. I don't have a problem conceding with any type of argumentation. Um, because that's the point of argumentation, debating, and such on. We are
Modern
supposed
War
to
Institute.
concede.
This is a literal institute that does like
Yeah,
historical and
that's what I just looked at. Yeah, that's the
okay,
one I just looked at. And they
okay.
don't
So
have anything. Wait, they don't have any type of documentation on here.
the
None of it.
Mossad isn't gonna
It's just,
leak you your documents. You can just say everything's fake. I can call your FBI agent guy fake that he was criticizing Israel.
well, no, I brought verifiable proof with it too. Remember, I said that he got put into jail during the Joe Biden administration
What's his
for
name?
leaking the
What's his name?
yeah, John Kiriakou. It's very well known.
Spell it again.
I will type it to you.
Because I
I'll have here.
is it Car A G A K I?
John here. No, it's Kiriakou.
Okay, send it to me.
Yeah, yeah. he went to jail like under the Joe Biden administration, and that's a very like it's a public court case. You
What
can
did he go to
actually see
jail
that.
for? What did he go to jail for?
Because he went to jail. I will search it up right now. For his exact definition, so I don't give any. John Kiriakou.
And also, I got a super chat I gotta read. It says, Graham, the
Yeah, go ahead.
optics of the charitability you give to the Mossad is astounding. You literally have more skepticism of the CIA. Should we pull Algeria's? As far as like the CIA and the FBI and the Mossad, I have my skepticism for all of them. But when they're telling us something like this, that seems pretty accurate, considering that the leaders of Iran said that they have the capabilities to build nuclear weapons. I mean, when they're telling you they have the capabilities to build nuclear weapons, and at the same time you happen to find 100,000 blueprints of building nuclear weapons, that makes me
Yeah,
think that it's true. Those two things
where I
make
don't.
me think it's true.
Yeah, I
And
don't see this 100,000
because
document out.
Do you know
That I
why you
still
don't
don't
see
see that.
them? Do you know why you're not going to see the documents?
No,
Because
you said
it has
no, you said the
nuclear
exact.
plans. Because it has plans to
Wait,
build a
you said the
nuclear
exact.
bomb. You don't release
But you said
public
that.
plans to build nuclear bombs. They can't release you
Yes,
the
not
plans and
that.
show you the plans to build a nuclear bomb.
You said the exact number 100,000, and I'm trying to see where you're getting like these numbers from.
Okay, I can
Because
get that number from.
even from the Modern War Institute, it doesn't give a rough number. It doesn't give anything. It just says they found undeniable proof, and that's it. End quote.
I literally did just approach this guy says you approach Mossad with zero skepticism. Don't cap. I literally just said I approach it with skepticism. I said what Iran's leaders are saying is matching what Israel is saying they found. If it's matching
I
what
mean,
there's, if Israel found something that's basically matching with what Iran said that they have the capabilities to build a nuclear weapon, if Iran is saying they have the capabilities, that means they have the nuclear blueprints. That means they have the blueprints to build a nuke. So they're telling you basically they have the blueprints to build a nuke. We found the blueprints to build a nuke, and you're just saying that it doesn't exist and it's not true.
no, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It's not true. That's a mistake. That's a straw man of my argument. What I exactly
I
said
was talking to the
specifically
chat.
to
I was talking to the chat,
oh,
but
sorry.
you're good.
All
You're
right,
good. You're
see,
good.
yeah, I
Uh,
thought I was overstepped my. I thought you were talking to me.
no, I was talking to some of the super chatters. This Trump equals throat growth. That's a little bit. That's a little homo. It's a little homo. That's all I gotta say. But
Okay,
yeah, let's see. You want me to
so
find the thing for
do
a hundred
you
thousand
are you
documents?
familiar? Are you familiar with the Israel or religious or so you said you're a Zionist, right?
I don't
Could
even
you
do it from a
define?
religious point. A Zionist, to me, I'm not a religious Zionist. I'm not a messianic Zionist. I'm just a regular Zionist, meaning that I believe Israel has the right to exist, just like I believe America has the right to exist. Just like I believe, other countries around the world have a right to exist. I
Okay,
believe
so
every
would you
country that
agree?
has a military and can defend its borders has a right to exist.
Okay, so but would you agree that there is differentiate or there's different groups or groups in parties that run for elections and such on in Israel that run for you know
Yeah,
primary and
sure.
such on in Israel?
Some of them probably want greater Israel. Is that where you're gonna go?
That's not where I was gonna go. But we can go there. But
No,
that's not
no, it's
where I was
good.
gonna go. But yeah, where I was going to go was that, is it true or are you familiar with that the running party currently is um a heavy, very extremist Zionist party?
You're talking about
Or
what's
are you
his name,
familiar?
Ben Guerrero?
And such on, not just him, but such on. Are you familiar with like the extremist Zionist parties and such on that are within Israel and that are specifically in power now, and their opinions and theology towards us, towards the world?
What do you mean their theology? I have friends that live in Israel. What are you talking about? What specifically are you
Yeah.
talking about?
What I was specifically talking about, I don't remember this. I can pull it up. Hold on, let me pull it up. Uh, Yeah, but what I was gonna specifically talk about is the view. Let's talk about their view on, for example, us goyim or us
Do you even know what
non-Jews
goyim
or of the
means?
Judah.
Do you know the original term of goy? What is a goy to
Would
you?
you? Would you like to enlighten me? Would you like to
No,
enlighten
I
me?
want to hear what you think it means first. I want
Yeah,
to hear what you
but I
think it
would you
means.
like to
Yeah,
enlighten
I'll
me? It's
enlighten you
supposed to
after
be
you.
a slur. Yeah, it's supposed to be a slur term towards non-Jews or, for example, people who are ignorant to the powers of that are taking of use of them or such and all. There's
So
other things.
basically you're telling me it's like a degrading word to call like subhuman people, correct? Is that what you believe?
Of the way, oh wait, of the way, because there's different ways it can be used, but of the way the extremist or the Zionist extremist groups, that is the way that they do use it.
I mean, you're gonna have to send me of like a article or something because goy in Hebrew it means nation.
Yeah, exactly, and
And even
that's what
and
I.
even
Do
in
you
the
know what
even
nation it's?
in the Torah it calls themselves goy. It calls Jews goys. Like it says we're a nation of
Could you show
goys.
me that?
Yeah, I can
Could you
pull
show
it
me that?
up. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, them, a nation of goys.
Yeah, Israel. They call themselves goys in the Hebrew Bible.
Okay, yeah, I would love to see that. But anyways, even
And no,
then,
and there's no, by the way,
whatever.
there's no definition that anywhere that you look up or will Google that will say that it's like a subhuman slur of any kind. The only person that popularized it is people like Nick Fuentes telling other people out there that goyim and goy because it's a funny word. It sounds funny, so they kind of made it into like they kind of popularized it in culture and started using it as like a degrading word. But I've never seen an Israeli or a Jewish person use it in a degrading manner. They might use it as a non-Jewish person. They might say the goyim. They might say that they. I've heard rabbis say it before. You're acting like a goyim, and what that means is that they are not adhering to the 600 and something laws that you follow as a Jew.
Well, yeah, I was very, yeah, I'm very like confused about, I've never heard that they've used it for themselves. Well, obviously they're acting like that's different, but saying that the Hebrew Bible says or calls them a goyim, because even from the definition, even if you were to search up like just from straight definitions or such on, it's a term that's referring to non-Jews or meaning nations in non-Jewish nations
Yeah,
or the other people. It's so that's why I'm confused when you say that it's in the Bible or in Talmud or the Torah that it's calling the Jews themselves the goyim because it's a term
yeah.
referring
If
for
you here you
non-Jews.
go. Here you go. I have a verse
Yeah,
for you right here. Exodus 19:6. God calls Israel a goy kadash.
yeah, that's not it.
Let's see. Um, yeah, it says it just means non-Jew or Gentile.
Exodus what?
Exodus 19:6. God calls Israel a goy kadash, which means a holy nation.
Yeah, which means a holy nation.
Yeah, goy, goy kadash.
You will be okay. So he says, "You will be for being a kingdom, a priest, and a holy nation." These are the words that you speak
You're
into.
reading the you're reading the
That's
English translation. I'm reading a
okay. Yeah,
completely
we can
different
do
translation.
right here.
I'm
What are
looking
we
at the
doing?
Hebrew Bible. But I have three
Hebrew.
super
Got
chats
it.
I got to read real quick. Right
Okay.
to exist equals entitlement language equals woke. No country has the right to exist. I mean, they have a right to exist as long. I believe every country that can continue to protect their country with weapons basically is proving they have a right to exist. Just like America, we continue to prove that we have a right to exist because we keep defending our country, we keep winning wars, and also, Chris says jihad means struggle in Arabic. Lol. Yeah, well, I know that, but that we already know about jihadists. I mean, the word
Yeah, I'm
jihad
not
is not is
seeing.
not is
I'm
not in
even.
general
I,
bad, technically speaking. But go ahead.
yeah, I'm looking at the. Can I see the exact one you're looking at? Because it's not goyim of the
It's
word
goy
we're talking about
kadash.
specifically.
It's goy
Yeah, goy kadash.
kadash.
Specifically, it's coming off as a different word.
Okay,
Goyim
no, it's actually two words.
is referring to
Goy means nation, and
kadash.
kadash means holy.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the Hebrew
exactly.
word for
He's
holy.
talking
So
a
okay,
holy
so
nation,
okay,
but
so
he's
the
not talking
time
about goy. Goyim is a different word. The word I speak of was goyim. Goyim is a different word for referring specifically
It's not a
to a
different word. It's
non-Jewish.
plural. It's a plural word. Goy is singular. Goyim is plural. meaning many
Yes,
people.
you're the full word that you pulled up in Exodus 19:6 is Goy Kadash, and it's speaking of a holy nation, not
Okay,
saying
but
that
the word goy
Jews are
means nation.
goyim.
The word goy means nation.
Yes, but you're forgetting the rest of the word goyim. It is
Okay, so
referring to
goyim is
context
two or
a
more.
no, in its context of the word it's used. I'm looking at it right here. It literally says that it's referring to a non-Jewish nation or a non-Jew.
Okay, so it
So
doesn't mean any of
goy
the stuff you were
kadash is
talking
a
about.
word.
My point proven then. It
It
doesn't
does.
mean subhuman. It doesn't mean anything like that. It's not a degrading term unless you take it as such.
It literally says if used in its context. It's asked you. There's a context of which it is used. And my point was is that it is used in that context. For example, in the Zionist radical parties, they use it as a context for it to apply to us, which is our would be our
Yes, but they
term
don't
in their
use it in a
theology would be
subhuman
goyim.
manner. But it's not like a
Right.
slur. It's not a slur. That was your initial point. It's not a slur. It's just not.
Okay. Okay.
Just like
So
Gentile is
let's.
not a slur.
But Gentiles. All right. Yeah.
No, goy literally means Gentile. It's not completely different. It's literally the same thing. The Gentile is a non-Jewish person, and so is a goy.
Yes, it has different what's it called? Different contextual meanings or uses. And that's what it's talking about. And in this definition or what I'm reading right here, it's literally saying that it has different contextual meanings and can be used for a humorous or ironic usage or pejorative and it can be
What
used as
definition
a
are you getting from
insulting.
that?
It says can
Which
be used.
definition? What dictionary is that?
Hold up, right here. It's the AI overview, the same one that you used when you sent to me.
I didn't get that in my AI overview. What's the source for
Wait,
the
no,
AI
no. You
overview?
sent. Wait, you used a AI overview for the Supreme Iran Supreme Leader. So I did the
I'm
exact
using
same
an AI.
thing.
What AI are you using? What AI are you using?
I just did Google, Google, straight Google.
I'm using
Co-
Gemini. That's the same AI. What's the source that it gives you saying that? What's the source saying it's a slur?
Um,
What's the
we have
website?
We have Sling Sphere. Then we also have factology.co and
Okay,
Wikipedia.
so these are not. Send me the Wikipedia one. I'd like to see that because the other ones are not. Here, let me
Okay.
pull up Wikipedia. Yeah, I'm reading what goy means on Wikipedia right now, and I don't see anything about a. I see it says the word goy is sometimes used by white supremacists and anti-Semites to refer to themselves when signaling a belief in an anti-Semitic tropes. I'm looking on Wikipedia, but the other websites you gave me are not dictionary. This isn't Webster Dictionary. This isn't Oxford Dictionary. This is literally just some random third-party website where anyone can post anything they want. This is not like a thing that's
Yeah,
widely
it's
accepted.
right here in the
It's
very end
not.
of the Wikipedia. Wait, it's right here in the end of the very end of the Wikipedia page. Goy can be used in a derogatory manner. The
Where?
Yiddish
Where does it say that?
lexicographer Leah Roston and the New Joys. I can show you a screenshot right here. It's in
I
the
don't
same
need a
Wikipedia.
screenshot. I'm
Uh,
looking at Wikipedia right now.
oh yeah, yeah. Just scroll down. It's right
I
at the
scrolled
bottom
all the way
as a
down.
derogatory.
The
Yeah,
last
it's
thing I
at
see, send me a
it
screenshot then
says
because I
as
don't see it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It says as a derogatory term right
Are
here.
you looking at
I'll
Goy
send
or
you
Goyim?
right here. I clicked the exact link that it sent me for Goy. Let's put Goyim,
Did you put
and it
Goy
does
or
have Goyim
Goyim?
in here.
Did you put?
I clicked the exact link that it sent me to, and it sent me to. It says Goy. So let's go to Goyim. I'm sending it to you. This is for Goy, and it has derogatory term right in it.
I'm still waiting for
It's
it.
on the second. Yeah, I just sent it. There you go. Yeah, it was just up. Yep. It says can be used in derogatory manner, and the new joys of Yiddish defines goy as being who is non-Jewish or someone who is dull. So even Yiddish lexicographer Leo Calvin Roston, although that's in the 1900s, and I know you're probably gonna say that's outdated or whatever, He even says that it's for someone that is non-Jewish or someone who is dull or insensitive or heartless,
That's
which
a
would make sense
lexicographer.
of why.
That's one Yiddish lexicographer.
Well, you asked me for it and I showed you, and but not only that,
It still doesn't give your initial definition of subhuman. It says that it's derogatory or it means dull.
yes, is that
But
not
where's the subhuman?
if you're
No,
later
dull is not
if you're
subhuman.
okay,
No.
yeah, right. All right, it doesn't say the exact words subhuman, but is that not a derogatory term? And if you know what a derogatory is, or are you not belittling someone by calling someone this term?
I mean, it's subjective.
Okay, yeah, it's subjective on the basis of context, right? Is
No,
that
no,
right?
it's
Because
not.
that's
No,
literally
it's
what it
not.
says.
Because if you're not Jewish, why would you be offended to be called a goy? They're basically calling you
Because it
not
can be
Jewish.
okay. Once again, I will go back to what it said. It says
And you're gonna
depending
tell
on
me,
the
okay, you're gonna tell me that makes them think that you're dull. Well, Christians, Muslims, and every other religion think that you're probably dull if you don't follow their religion. Is that fair enough to say?
no, I would deny that. I would deny that.
Well, they would say that you're burning in hell at the very least, which is worse.
No, I would deny that.
You would deny that too, so you're just gonna deny all, Christians and Muslims
Well,
don't have
no,
anything
I would.
derogatory, they say.
There could be specific people who could say stuff that are hurtful and stuff like all, but no, I would not say that. Um, for example, like Orthodox Christians don't like, for example, Saint Paisios. He doesn't say that about anyone who's specifically atheist. So no, I'd say that's an overgeneralization.
Are you Orthodox? Because I'm not Orthodox. I already told you.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't hold that belief. Neither does anyone in my camp hold that belief that you are just inherently burning to hell if you don't become a Christian.
No, that's exactly what Christians believe in. Jews don't believe in
That
hell.
is
Christians
not,
do. So
but
what
that's
happens if you
not
don't
our
believe in
belief.
Okay, what happens if you don't have your faith in Jesus Christ? What happens to you?
You are, it's for example, US, you will yes. So all right, let me clear it out real
You
quick.
will burn in hell. Exactly. You
So
can't even deny it because I know as a
you that is
Christian,
not
that's
wait,
what
wait,
happens. If you
wait.
don't have
If you will be judged, of course you will be judged, but it's let alone up to God of what choice it is. I can't say if you will or will you won't,
so
because
you
it's
don't believe
ultimately up to God.
okay, so you don't believe that you get salvation through Jesus then.
I do believe that, but that
Okay, so
doesn't
if you
mean
don't
the way
believe in
you
Jesus,
believe
then you're
it.
not then if you don't get
No, I
salvation through
do.
Jesus, then you're going to go to hell, correct?
But there's, for example, I'll use a great example. A man who's on an island is a great example that was used, who's never had any interactions with any type of religious
No, that's an
artifacts, anything
exception.
like
That's a
that.
religious exception. Yes, I know what you're talking about already. If you've never had
Wait,
any
but you didn't even
con
but you
go
didn't
ahead.
even let me
No,
finish though.
I know it though.
Okay,
Go ahead.
but this man who hasn't had any interactions with any type of religious artifacts, and him himself, he has no interactions or any way to, let's say, go to Jesus or any type of way of, entering church service or anything like that. So this man, once again, would be that person who does not. He himself, I cannot say if he would go to hell or heaven, for that is let alone to God. God will judge whether he would go to heaven or hell. I don't know. There is no verifiable way for me to say you are going here, and that is passing judgment on a thing that I don't know. For only God knows whether a person goes to hell or heaven. That's the simple answer. I do not know.
I'm pretty sure there is a religious text that backs up that if you've never had any, or there's at least talks from Orthodoxes, people in the Orthodox Church discussing this and referencing texts saying that if you live on an island or you've never had any experience or you die before you're old enough to, discover anything, that it doesn't count towards your eternal salvation, that you're still going to be saved. They've had discussions about this in the church multiple times, but when you have the opportunity, when someone tries to introduce you to Jesus Christ and you reject him, they say that you're going to burn in hell.
No. Can you pull that up? That is not true.
So then when do people go to hell?
when
So there
you're
is no
well, yes,
salvation
so
then. So
listen,
that basically there is no
but it
salvation through Jesus then. You don't believe in salvation through Jesus.
there is okay. There is, of course, but we do not have a sound decision of to whether this person will go to hell. That's the simple answer. We do not know because that is up to God to know.
I agree with you there, but as far as not believing in Jesus, isn't there some kind of
We
punishment in
do.
not believing in Jesus? You don't think there's any punishment?
No, I'm not saying there isn't. But the fact is that I don't know what the punishment is, whether that person doesn't receive one or whether he doesn't. I don't know if that atheist who's sitting on that corner is going to heaven because he genuinely just can't put the two thoughts together that there is a God and that he genuinely can't put together that, oh, I can't
Okay, how about
genuinely, because
this?
there's people
How
out
about
there that
this?
I've talked to that genuinely can't comprehend it. So I
Okay, how
genuinely,
about this? How
we,
about
none of
this?
us know.
Those
Mm,
who how is this fair enough? Instead of saying hell, I'll give you
yeah.
a little bit something else. Those who do not believe in Jesus will be condemned. Is that fair enough? Instead of saying hell, just say they'll be condemned. Is that a fair statement?
No, it's the same answer. I
No,
do
it's
not
not.
know.
No, well then you're not. Then you. It's in the Bible. John 3:18, John 3:36, Mark 16:16, John 14:6, Acts 4:12. I mean, do you want me to start reading you verse after verse? Whoever believes in his
Well,
son,
no, I know
let
the
me read it to you.
I know I know the
Whoever believes in his son has eternal life, but whoever rejects the son will not see the life, for God's wrath remains on them. Whoever believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe standards condemned already because they have not believed in the name of God, one and only Son. So it says multiple times that you will be condemned. So it's not really a questionable thing if it's in the Bible over and
well
over and
the
over again.
thing okay.
So they're condemning
Wait,
non-believers.
okay. Well, let me back it up once again because you're just once again you're reading these scriptures, but also you're forgetting of the people who put those scriptures together, the people who put those things together, and the people
John and
whose
Mark
interpretation
and Paul, John, Mark, and Paul,
no, who put the
Peter.
canon together?
Oh, sorry.
No, they weren't the people who put the canon.
This was John, Mark, and Peter that are giving you these quotes.
But they did not put the canon together. Neither is the interpretation, let alone being able to just read it, because it is a consistent teaching within our camp that we do not know and we cannot make a judgment call on whoever it is, no matter what how dire their situation
I'm
is.
not making a
We are
judgment
not
call.
allowed to
I'm
make a
just
judgment.
reading scripture to you and
Well,
saying you will be
well,
condemned
yes.
according to scripture.
Well, yes, that is the judgment call, and we are not able to make that judgment
So
call.
you're
We
telling me
say
that
it's very clear.
Orthodoxes don't believe in John and Peter's judgment calls and Mark's judgment calls? You're telling me they don't believe in
We
any?
do, we do, we do. But at the same time, I don't think you're understanding of where I'm coming from because I'm not
No,
able
I
to
understand. No,
detail explain it.
I have verses in the Bible that say exactly what you're talking about, or that no man should judge another person's faith because that's God's decision, basically. But at the same time, it does
No,
say that they're going to be
not necessarily.
condemned.
Yes, there is condemnation within, there is condemnation. For example, people in pre-list. There is condemnation for people in pre-list, if you know what that is. Um, but yeah, but we are not able to make like
No, we're not
strict
able to,
condemnations for.
this
Oh,
is supposed to be the
I'm
word
not.
of God. This is supposed to be the word of God, correct?
Yes.
Okay, if it's the
Well,
word
the
of God,
divinely
then
inspired.
if it's divinely inspired, if it's the word of God, if it's, either which way, it's basically saying they're going to be condemned. I don't know
Right.
how other way you can put it. Just say that, well, we can't make judgment, we can't do this or that or the third. I think that's just a soft way of looking at it. I know evangelicals don't look at it that way. I know Protestants don't look at it that way.
Yeah, we don't. Because that's the way it's been taught since the fathers. That's the way they have taught us. They have taught, for example, that's why I use Saint
Well, what
Paisios.
about
He
Catholics? I'm
taught us.
pretty sure they believe it as well.
Well, I'm not in that camp. I don't know, but I know what they believe, some of it, but I don't know exactly what their belief is according to that. For example, that's why I use Paisios. He specifically talks to multiple people, and he does not make that judgment call on them, for he lets it into God's hand. So, in all honesty, I leave it. We leave those things into God's hands. We don't know whether that person is saved or not saved. We don't know what how God will judge that person in their last minutes.
It
We
says you
don't
will.
know.
I mean, John says you will not see life, and for God's wrath remains on them.
Mhm.
I mean, to me,
Yes.
that's kind of clear as day, saying that you're not going to see afterlife, and God's judgment will remain on you.
Yeah. But we, in the sense of, if we were in the sense of just reading this, for example, there's scripture that says that we must endure to the end, meaning that we can't fall, we're not supposed to fall away and stuff, like we have to endure to the end when we join the faith. Um, Stuff like that, right? It makes it very, very clear. But as a person on one to one, we are not able to say to the other person that you're going to hell right now. You're
No,
going to
I'm not.
hell.
I believe that's wrong. No, I do believe that's
Yeah,
wrong, but I do believe we can point
that's why
to this and
that's why I
say
kept
that.
giving this. Yeah, that's why
I
I kept giving the same answer when you gave me the same question, because you were asking me if I would say this person would be going to hell, and the truth is, me personally, you asked me, Nicholas cannot say whether that person's going to heaven or hell. I cannot judge.
Yes, yes, but they're going to be condemned according to the divine words of God or the divine inspired words from God.
Maybe so. I
I
don't
think we
deny
can
it.
at least say maybe so.
Yeah, I don't deny it. I don't deny it. But you asked me, you asked Nicholas. I'm not God. God's ways are higher than mine. For an yeah, God's ways are higher than mine. For an example, Jacob in Genesis, after his daughter was violated by this man in from the city, who came out and found his daughter alone and violated her. And her brothers found out, and they were enraged at that their sister was violated by this man, and they tricked the city into getting circumcised and thinking that it was all good between them, and they came in and destroyed and slaughtered the city and burnt everything to the ground because of what they did to their sister and violated her, which I think was rightful, which I think was the right thing they should have did. I think that was just. um but Jacob was scared in Genesis that that they were going to be destroyed by the other surrounding cities because of what they did. So, but and Jacob was in fear and he was in doubt that God was even going to keep his protection over him. But we find to see that God, Jacob didn't know that, but God actually protected him through the whole thing. And we see throughout Genesis that he was protecting and steering away each army, and even bringing hell and havoc to each city that was about to threaten them. And he protected them their whole way to the destination that they were meant to go. So
Okay. Well,
I don't know. Yeah, go ahead.
my question is, why do you think that the Catholics and the Orthodox make judgments towards the Jews in Israel, and the evangelicals, the Baptists, and the Protestants
Mhm.
seem to favor Israel? Do you think that has anything to do with biblical stuff, or do you think it's just more of a political difference?
Well, it's not political. It's a theological difference. Theological.
What's the theological
Um
difference?
doctrine difference.
Does it say anything like negative towards Israel in the books you read?
Oh, well, then, yes, there is multiple priests and stuff who have spoken about it and such on, but no, the problem is more on, say,
Sorry, you're
the thing
lag.
that we talked about last time.
Sorry, say that again.
It's no, I said there is multiple people that have authoritative figures that have talked about it, but it's more still on the problem of um just how do I see this? Um, Give me a second. Yeah, I'm
That's
back.
that's
So,
actually a horrible
all right.
comment
So,
someone
can you
made.
repeat the
This
question real quick?
the question was uh, the question was about the Catholics and all the different sects of Christianity. Why, like, do
Mm.
Catholics and Orthodox seem to not favor Israel? Why other ones do seem to favor, a Jewish state
It,
or a Jewish
well,
nation? Because in
it's
Revelations, I mean, I don't know if that's
well,
in your Bible, but it says all the Jews will return to the homeland and there will be you know, there'll be the Antichrist or whatnot
yeah.
somewhere.
There's another thing with that. That um, is Schofield Bible kind of problems with that. But if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I know
But
what you're
yeah,
talking about.
the problem. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The problem is not Jews. The problem is not Jews, like the people themselves, because there are Jewish people that even live in America that have their own disdain for Israel. And what I like to refer to them, or what I would refer specifically to, is Zionist or the Zionist. And I'm not talking about you, the regular people who are just thinking like, oh, like on a political border sense, like thinking, oh, I just want this nation to still exist. I think they should still exist. No, we're not talking about, when I say Zionist, what we're talking about are the Israel Jewish religious extremist.
Okay,
And
what do you mean
they have,
extremists?
yeah, they have a great disdain towards people like me, like Christians, because of Jesus.
Oh my God! Now we're getting into the red zone. Let me guess, you're gonna start quoting the Talmud.
Oh, my laptop's froze.
So because they have a disdain for you, that's extremism.
No. That's not extremist. No, not at all. But what we're talking about right now, well, specifically what I'm addressing, or what we are addressing, or what I was addressing, of why they have disdain towards them. It's not the Jews themselves, because it's true we are supposed to see a mass convert of Jews, right? We're supposed to see a mass convert of Jews, you know, but not convert of Jews into Judaism. It's not into Judaism, but into Christianity. And that's what we're supposed to see. Um, and the problem that we have, it's not with the Jews people, because not all Jews are like, there's atheistic Jews, there's such on Jews, you know. We're not talking about the blood people, but we're talking about those people who still hold heartily to the belief of Judaism or Orthodox Judaism, or such on. These people have a great disdain for Christians. It's
Orthodox
the
Jews
truth.
have a great disdain for Christians.
I said that they have there is a disdain within there for Christians towards our God or
I mean,
Jesus. They do not see, well, of course, they don't see Jesus as
I mean,
the Messiah.
I know multiple people that are Orthodox Jews, and they told me in their
Mm,
religious practices they never think about Jesus, they never talk about Jesus.
mm. Yeah.
And if you're
Well,
going to
let's
reference the
just
Talmud, most of the Orthodox Jews don't even believe that's the same Jesus because he came 100 years before the modern Jesus. And also, Yeshua is a very common name in Israel at that time,
mm,
and very, very common. And the actual Hebrew, the translation of the name they give in the Talmud is "Thou shalt not be named."
yeah. So yeah, they obviously they don't accept him as the Messiah, right? They do not accept him as the Messiah. And the they all right, so there is a belief, I forgot which group it is, which group, because there's different sects of Jewish groups, right? There's different sects of
Yeah,
religious
there's.
Jewish groups, like the Yiddish is such on. There's the ones that are the Slavic one in Russia. There's like different groups of Jews, right? Because after them being dispersed during the Roman Empire and the Arch of Titus, if you remember what that is.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit.
Do you remember
Go
the
ahead.
Arch of Titus? Do you remember the Arch of Titus?
I can barely hear you. Okay, go ahead.
Do you
I
remember the
think you're
Arch of
muted,
Titus?
or maybe it's for me. I don't know. Hold on. Can you guys hear him in the chats? Actually, let's see. No, I cannot hear you at all. Let me try to say
Can
something.
you
Yeah,
hear
I
me
can
now?
hear you now. Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay. Do you remember the Arch of Titus?
No.
Okay, so do you remember the expelling or the two Jewish revolts?
Which ones?
During like
I'm
from
still trying to figure
let's
out what
say
Jewish extremism is because I really don't understand. But go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. But I was specifically we were talking about how there's different sects or groups within
Mm-hmm.
the Jews or beliefs or whatever. There was two revolts, I believe after no before because it was like 80 or was it? So there was two revolts, and these are covered in if you know Maccabees. A little bit of it is talked about in the book of Maccabees, which is in the Deuterocanon. But like so yeah, for example, Arch of Titus in 81, there's like a drawing or depiction, I believe. Hold up, I posted it in chat, I believe.
You
Yeah,
know the
in a depiction.
majority of Jews that live in Israel are secular. It's like 45% of them.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the
there is.
ultra orthodox is like 14% of the population.
Mm,
So you're talking about a small subset of Jews, but continue.
hold up, let me. I literally just pulled it up last time. All right, so basically, there is a all right, so there is a Arch of Titus, and it's a armnet. Well, southeast. Yeah, it's a horrific. It's an arch that has a depiction of the. I believe it's this one from the sewers. Yeah, it's a depiction of the symbol of the Jewish diaspora, and it's basically showing or demonstrating of what happened during that time after the second Jewish revolt, and it's showing the Roman people just ransacking the temple, the place, everything, and the Jewish people after that greatly had a lot of
Oh yeah, that's when Rome
strain and
destroyed the temple.
mhm, yeah, a lot of strain and anger against the Roman Empire. Um, after that, if you know anything about history, and this led to, for example, things like the Jews helping the Muslims or the caliphates into Spain or helping them conquer areas like Spain or Ayatollah partnering with the caliphates. And they actually had a better relationship with Muslims. And because of this partnership, and that's why we see in times like we would see a golden era in Spain during the conquering, oh, golden era for the no, Jews
I don't believe
in
that's true
Spain
either
after
because
the
they still
conquering
had
by
the
the
jizya tax. They still had like jizya taxes and other things like that, did they not? Because that's a key part of the Muslim
yeah,
belief. Okay, so the
yeah,
Jews
they
are
had, of
not
course, they
treated
jizya.
equally. Yeah, of course. So the Jews are not treated equally under
A
the
gold. I
Muslims.
said it. I never said they were treated equally. I said they had a golden era, meaning they were very prosperous. Technologically, they were very prosperous. Politically, they were very prosperous economically under the caliphates rather than the Christians, because the Christians violently persecuted them due to the belief that the Jews
So did the
were the reasons.
Muslims. So did the Muslims. If they didn't pay their taxes, they'd be unalived. I mean, that's either you pay the jizya tax or they kill you. Those are your options.
but it was greater than the Christians, them living in the Christian
No,
situationship, and
The,
they
the Christians just unalived them. I'll tell you straight up. But the Muslims killed lots of them too.
and no, you have to also remember that it depended on the caliphate too. Caliphate during that time, the
I
golden
can't
era
hear
was
you again. I
very
don't know if
lenient.
it's my headset or what's going on.
Maybe it's
Is it
my
you or is
headphones.
it me?
Yeah,
Well, it says it's picking up
is it?
for. It says it's picking you up, so it must be on my end. Hold on. Give me a second. I don't know. I think my headphones are dying. Hello, hello. Say something.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. And all right, so yeah, it's actually in yeah, it's actually labeled as a golden age for Jewish culture.
I know it is, but
Um
I don't believe it. I think
yeah.
that's just like Muslim propaganda. I think that's like Taiki or however they call it, Muslim deception.
No, it's called Al Andalus.
Yeah, that's Andalusia, Spain. That was Muslim
Mhm.
taking priority taking over.
Yeah, and they're the ones that actually helped um the Muslims take it over. Because the Muslims actually weren't able to take it over due to a super strong fort blocking the passway from Gibraltar. Yeah, yeah, I can pull it up even here from
Yeah, okay.
Wikipedia.
I know about all this stuff. What's your point about Jewish extremism? Where is there Jewish extremism? Where is there this? Because 87% of all the global terrorist attacks are Muslim. So I'm trying
Yeah,
to figure
okay.
that out.
So
There's more
yeah, yeah, yeah.
terror attacks
Okay,
from
so
Christians than there are Jews. Jews are the least of
what
the
I was
terror
what I was
attacks out of
trying
all three branches of religion. Go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, yeah, what I was trying to build is this historical backing of this hatred relationship between the Jews and the Christians for most of history, or after Christ's death. There was this hate and the stigma between the two religions,
Yeah,
and
that was back when the
the
Christians were
hate.
doing
Yeah,
massacres and terror attacks and the Crusaders and all that stuff was fucking crazy. So if any culture, any ethnicity is gonna have a disdain, but modern relationship is a little bit reversed. It's more
well,
like the
I
hmm?
don't think they were actually bad for things like the Crusades. I think the Crusades were like a meaningful thing to happen.
I mean, I understand why it happened, and I'm more or less glad why it happened. Was it immoral, and was it not? Was it God's will? I don't think so. I mean, maybe, but that was mostly because of 500 years of Muslim persecution, more than anything.
Yeah, but the difference, what the thing I was pointing out was that
He's frozen now completely. I don't know if his phone died or what happened. I think they opened the gates or something. I think that's a lie. I heard that before. I already heard that before. That the Jews opened the gates and let the Muslims pour in and do what they did. Maybe, maybe not. But that I mean, I have no idea. God wills it. God wills it. I mean, I can understand. Maybe God did will it. I mean, maybe it was God's will to push Islam back. I'm probably just gonna have to agree with Chad on this one. You guys are probably right. I mean, if God doesn't will it, then who else wills it? Is he completely gone? What is going on here? Yeah, he's completely frozen. Let's see if we can call him back. Hello? Hold on. Hello? I mean, my connection says it's great. I don't see anything for his connection. He's just like a loading dot for me. Oh, see, he's failed to connect his camera. Reconnect. Oh yeah, he just said Discord is glitching. Are you there?
all right, yeah, 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 it was this Discord. Discord's like acting up for some reason.
Go ahead. Well, you were talking about the history.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, during this time, the Jews had a very great disdain with the Christians, because the Christians would persecute the Jews very adamantly due to them hating them for killing their Messiah slash God. And this created an alliance or a mutual enemy between the Muslims and the Jews during this time. Well, and this is showing the roots between the hate between the Christians and the Jews of where it comes from. And it's the disdain of the Messiah and this is where we see a lot of degrading language and degrading actions happening towards images of
Obviously,
the Messiah.
I obviously agree with you, but at the same time, I think we live
Yeah.
in a modern society with religious freedoms. If religions can coexist amongst each other, then we should try to avoid violence. And as far as my concern is going, 87% of global terror attacks are by Muslims. 47,000 plus terror attacks from Muslims since 1970. And how many terror attacks from Jews and how many terror attacks from Christians? A lot less. Like it's like about 1% or 2%.
I can, yeah, that's what I said at the very beginning. I can see us agreeing on a lot of things. Um, I will give you that. I will concede to that, that there is a lot of,
And as far as
Muslim
Greater Israel,
violence.
I'll just touch on that because I'm so surprised you haven't touched on it already. Well, I mean, Muslim countries are really poorly ran. I honestly think if a Christian took over or a Jew took over, they would do a better job. I'll just put it like that. I'm
Well,
not saying I'm for it or against
countries
it.
like,
I don't really care, but I will say that Christians and Jews have pretty much proven that they can run their countries better than Muslims.
well, would you say, okay, what about like nations like Saudi Arabia, who well, although they do rely mostly on, for example, their oil production, they are making efforts and have made great efforts to differentiate their economy and their production, especially investing in foreign media and such like that into our own country too. Um, but countries like, yeah, for example, Saudi Arabia, who are running their country perfectly fine during peace states.
Don't they have Sharia law?
Yeah, well, that is their culture. That's part of their culture. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's horrific then. The only thing I will say is that they outlawed child marriage, which is good for them, but previously they did have child marriage too. So, I mean, I don't really know what to say
Well,
about that. I
well,
don't think
you
they're
can't
doing a good
really,
job. They're not really doing a
you
good
can't
job.
really,
I mean, for
yeah.
Muslims, I guess, but look at that compared to, like, I don't know, the United States, which was founded on
But
Christian
would
values.
you, would you commit the point that, or would you consent the point that, for example, nations like Saudi Arabia, when they're left alone and given the opportunity to build up themselves without the advent of constant war or coups and such on, they are able to actually build a running society?
Yeah, but you're talking about there's maybe two Muslim countries that have running societies. I would say the UAE,
Um,
Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and I'll give it to even Bahrain. So there's four. There's four out of 55 Muslim countries. That's not really a good ratio.
there's Indonesia. What's it called? What's the other
Indonesia,
one?
I don't count that because they're Muslim, but they're not Arabs. I'm looking for Muslim Arabs. I'm looking for these ethno states of Muslim Arabs.
Wait, so no, what you're really looking for is Arabs. You're not looking for Muslims. You're not
Well,
looking for Muslims. You're
even
looking at Arabs.
Malaysia's not really. It's a poor country. It's a poor. It's poor. It's not really all
It
that good.
Malaysia? Yeah,
Yeah,
Malaysia
it's a
is
poor
very, I wouldn't
place.
use them. It's very poor, and the only thing that's keeping up its economy,
Indonesia's poor too.
Indonesia.
I'm not saying
I
it's
would say
not nice. I'm not saying it's not
it's
nice. I
no, no,
would
no,
like to
no, no,
visit,
no, no,
but
no, no. What oh, I wouldn't visit Indonesia.
I would visit it.
I wouldn't, I wouldn't
Bali's in
visit.
Indonesia.
I wouldn't visit any like Muslim or especially
So
Hindu nation.
you wouldn't visit any Muslim country, but you're telling me how
Oh,
great
no,
the
no, no.
Muslim countries are? Yeah, they're doing such a great job. You don't want to visit it. No American really
Okay,
wants to go
okay,
to
okay.
any Muslim country. Plenty of
Okay. But
Americans
that's
want to go to Israel, but no Americans want to go to the Muslim countries.
wait.
Not
Hold
even
up, hold up, hold
Muslim
up, hold up,
Americans.
hold up, hold up, hold up,
Not
hold up.
even Muslim Americans want to
I wouldn't,
go.
I wouldn't go to Israel either because, well, no, I wouldn't go there because there is rumors of persecution and stuff like that. But
Where's
then not only that,
persecution? What Christian has been
no, I
arrested?
said rumors. I said rumors. And there, like for example, random videos, random streams of Jews or rabbis going around spitting on Christian women, Christian people.
Can I explain that to
Um,
you? Can I explain that to you? I know
oh yeah,
all
you can
about that.
wait. Yeah,
They're
yeah, but
not
I
going
also want to
around.
mention.
They're not going around. They're staying in their Hasidic Jewish areas, and Christian missionaries are coming up to their homes and to their schools and to their children, screaming at them at the
That's
top
not.
of their lungs, telling them if they don't
Yeah, can I
convert
confront that? That's
that they're
not
gonna
true.
burn in hell. It is true. What evidence do you
Yeah,
have? It's
can
not
I?
true. Show me
Yeah, I
a
have
video.
multiple videos. Yeah, I
Well,
can.
send them
I
over to
literally
me.
just seen. Yeah, I just seen one literally not now. The lady was literally just standing there,
I would like
minding
to
her
see
business, talking to her.
I would like to see any video that's even recent of that because of all the videos I've seen are like dating back 7+ years, 12 years, 13 years.
But that's not far. That's not long ago at all.
Yeah, but if it's a common occurrence, then shouldn't it be happening every week or every other day?
Th- Well, that doesn't necessarily indicate that the evidence itself should
Mu-
not be
Muslims in
used.
America spit on Christians all the time. I bet you I can find cases from the last 5 years where
I
Muslims are
would like
spitting
to
on
see that. I've
Christians.
never seen that. I've
You've
never seen
never
that.
seen
I would
that. Here,
like to see it.
let's do a
Okay.
quick Google search.
All right.
Muslims spitting on Christians, USA. Let's see. Let's see. Um, oh, here we go. University of Tampa. A self-identified. Oh wait, no, this was Christians targeting Muslims. Okay, here's a 2025 November. A Tampa campus university. Christians spitting on Muslims. They engaged in their morning prayers, and the agitators spit on the ground and brandished bacon and shouted religious insults. So you're telling me that same kind of stuff doesn't happen inside of America? Christians towards
Um.
Muslims or Muslims towards Christians? This was 2025. This was in November. This was literally like 7 months ago, 8 months ago.
Yeah. There's one in. Wait. What?
This was 7 or 8
Yeah.
months ago.
What's it? Muslim. Yeah. I don't. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. Um.
And even when I looked it up, it says this. It says this about the Jews.
Yeah. Right
The,
here.
Here it says the
Right here. The.
the viral footage
Wait.
commonly associated with these claims actually depicts ultra Orthodox Jewish extremists spitting on Christian pilgrimage and clergy.
Yeah. It also happens, but it's from each side. All three sides do it. From even Israel themselves, like the Israeli Times. They even have one right here. Footage of an attack on a Catholic nun in Jerusalem shocked the world when it went viral last week. But for worshippers attending Sunday Mass at St. Bestin's Basilica, it was the latest example for mounting religious hostility. The attack on Tuesday was captured by CCTV, shared widely, showing a Jewish extremist shoving the nun to the ground and leaving before returning to the resume his attacks on her. At which point bypassers intervened. So yeah, it happens on all three sides, and that's recent.
Then what's your
And that's
point
by
then?
the
Saying you're not going to travel anywhere because you're scared of religious prosecution. You're not going to go to Florida. I think your license said you were in Florida. I don't remember, but
no, no, no. I didn't get to finish. So you would say that you would be against
I would go to
a lot of
Israel. I'm not scared
leftists,
of having conflicts with people. And
but
plus,
you
I
would
want to
say
see the
you're
Holy Land. I want to see Jerusalem, which is, by the way, separated with Muslims. I think we should take it back. I think Christians should take Jerusalem back.
okay, but you would say that you would say would you say that you're not a part of the leftist side, that you would disagree with things like the LGBTQ stuff like that, right? Along with me.
Uh, yeah, sure, but I also believe in freedoms. I wouldn't ban it. I wouldn't outlaw it. I think places like Israel are for allowing homosexuality versus prosecuting it and taking people's lives away. I think if I had to choose between either putting people in jail for homosexuality and taking their life, or just letting them be, I would just let them be because, it's, like you said before, it's not us. It's not up to us to punish people it's up to God to do what He does.
Mhm. Yeah. So, but that's another thing that me personally, I just wouldn't want to like. I personally
And
don't think
America is one of the
any.
gayest countries in the world. I mean, I think our homosexuality.
Tel
I
Aviv,
know,
even
I
from
know.
Israel is labeled as one of the most,
I know. I'm sure it is, but
yeah,
that's one
supporting.
city inside of Israel. I mean, the whole freaking. You can go to any major city in America and you'll find gay flags flying. You can't do the same thing in Israel. You'll see a couple in Tel
Mm,
Aviv probably, but
you can. There's a lot. There's a lot.
any major city,
Probably not like a super religious one, like maybe not
okay,
Jerusalem.
exactly, exactly. You're not going to see that kind of
But
thing in
wait,
America.
but that's the same
What
in
super
America. Yeah,
religious
there's
city
like
do we have? What's a big city that's religious?
for example, we have like what's it called? What's that one town where the KKK still resides?
I have no
It's
idea.
like uh, it's it's a very outback town. I think it's
They also
Carlson.
spit on the church when women clergy were standing on the entrance of a group of Jews passing by. I mean, I don't know what to say. I think it's crazy that we hyper focus on Christians spitting on Jews or Jews spitting on Christians when we have 87% of the global terror attacks from radical Islamists.
So, talking about that, then, would you say, in all honesty, would you say that the tradition or the belief in Islam carries an inherently dangerous belief?
I mean, the Quran is extremely misogynistic and
So,
extremely
you
vile and
agree to that?
violent.
Would you
Yeah, I
would
agree.
you agree to that? Yeah, I guess we can agree on more than a lot or more than less. Yeah.
And what about Morocco
So
invading Spain? Isn't that kind of just like the Moors doing what they did back in there?
that
What do you think
that
about
was
that?
that was very recent. But there's also like two sides. I haven't really caught up on that. I did just see that though. I believe Spain, what was it called? People are pointing out that Spain just said that they didn't want anything to do with Israel or whatever, and Morocco being an Israeli ally started to attack Spain. People are pointing that out, but I don't know how
I think
much
that's a
truth there is
conspiracy
to that.
theory because let me tell you this because I think Morocco has a prime minister or maybe he's a president. I don't remember what his title was, but he was asked by I think it was Slovakia or some country in Europe in Eastern Europe. He said why is 25% of our illegal alien immigrants Moroccan? And he said why do you allow your borders to be open? So
Yeah,
that
that's a
tells me
bad
right
thing.
there.
I
That tells me
yeah
right there that and he also pointed out that he
yeah.
had a conversation with. He also pointed out he had a conversation with the president of Spain, Sanchez, no, Pedro Sanchez, and
Mhm.
he said the exact same thing. He said that they have wide open borders and that's why they're pouring in. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't think
yeah,
Israel.
and
If
but
Israel
I
wanted
don't
to
think
fuck
that's
with,
just.
if Israel wanted to fuck with Spain, they could easily like turn off. They could basically turn off their entire power grid. Last year, Spain had a
I mean,
power
yeah, they had last
outage.
year. Yeah, they
Yeah,
had no
three
power.
days,
They went
three
out.
whole
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
So they wouldn't
yeah.
just
But
let.
honestly,
They wouldn't just let the. They would turn off the electricity and they just ruin the country like that. No one would even know it would be Israel. The whole
but
place would just be out of power and no one would know. They
yeah, but
wouldn't
not
just
even
send
that.
they wouldn't send like 80,000 Muslims. They would send a lot more than that.
Let the Muslims fight their wars. Um, but yeah, honestly, I feel like the that is more of a Europe problem in whole. Europe has very open borders.
Oh,
Very,
our
very
borders were
open
just.
borders.
I seen a video. I seen a video in America. This was under Biden. I saw more people pouring in this video than I did in the Spain one.
Which one? What is that one?
I mean, I can send it to you. Hold on. It's on Instagram, so I'll send you the link to it on Discord.
Yeah.
But no, yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
I do agree with like they have very, very open borders. The very, very open borders. And the problem is that Europe is facing a very low population rebirth problem all throughout Europe. And they're trying to fix it by just importing people to fix their population gaps. And that's not how that, works. It's
I
just
think they're
gonna
tired. I think they're tired of the 30-hour work weeks and the pensions and the high salaries. I think that the ultra wealthy and the elite rather just let a bunch of third worlders pour into their country. They can, pull the strings, living in somewhere else. They might say, "Oh, look, Kenya's a beautiful country. We'll just go live here in a mansion and we'll control the world from there." I mean, they have all the reason in the world. They can make literally billions, hundreds of billions, if not trillions
speaking
of dollars.
speak yes, speaking of the ultra elite, you're speaking like of the ultra elite. What did you think about, for example, Apple, the Tim Cook, the CEO, blatantly lying to the US President Trump when
What
he
did he
gave
say?
the uh did you not see when he came to the president giving the his present to him? It was
What
like
did he
the
say?
gold CD thing. He was saying that he was going to start manufacturing, I believe, in Kentucky, of screen protectors or such on. But not knowing, oh, Trump obviously, I don't guess, not knowing that that was already a built manufacturing base. They already had it built there. And it's just a very small manufacturing base. So he blatantly lied and amped up saying, like, oh, we're going to start this new manufacturing base
But they
of a
invested
manufacturing base that was already there.
$600 billion in building a factory to build phones in Houston, Texas.
When was that?
This was last year.
Yeah, I'm not specifically talking about that, but I'm talking about the what's it called? The
And it
lie that he
says
told
it's
on
it says
TV.
it says here Kentucky is expanding production lines with Cornering and Harrisburg to build cover glass for every iPhone and Apple Watch. So they're building onto it. It says they're expanding onto it and adding onto it more. And I don't even know if it was open back then. So how can I say
No,
if
it
that's a
was,
lie or not?
yeah, it was open. It was as he was saying the statement, he said specifically that they were going to start, and unquote, start production of these manufacturing of the screen protection screens. And as he was saying that they already had production going and for a long time now, for like years, months going on of that same production line. So he basically lied to the president in front of his face.
Well,
And
it
would you
says
say that
here,
that
I,
is
I, I think that's semantics. I really don't find that as a lie. I mean, it says right here they're
mm,
expanding production lines across Kentucky. I mean, we're just arguing little details and semantics and words and trying to figure out if that's a lie or maybe a spin on the truth. I mean, I could say it's a spin on the truth. Are they expanding in Kentucky to build more? Yeah, they are. They're also expanding in Texas and Utah and Arizona as well. I mean, I don't really like if Trump gave him a deal or something like that, and he said that he wants to build phones in America. It looks like that he's doing it. He's building a 20,000 square foot Houston, Texas factory for advanced
mm.
AI servers and to produce the Mac Mini, a computer. And they also have they're partnering with TSM1 to mass produce Apple Silicon. We also got Harrisburg that are going to build the cover and glass for every iPhone. I mean, we can go on and on and on. I like it's over $500 billion investment inside of America. I don't
And
really
then
think
what
it's a
would you
lie.
say? What would you say? All right, specifically, for example, relevant news. What about the AI bubble that's currently going on? Do you believe there should be taking any further action, like governmental action that should be taken? For example, I believe it was South Korea, which took Samsung and Sky Hynix to court or over lawsuit over purposely inflating RAM prices or prices
Oh no, I
or
think
come
that's a huge
together.
problem. I think that's a huge problem. I can agree there.
But because it's not the first time that I believe they had the same lawsuit. I believe Samsung actually went, or was it SK Hynix that went through the same lawsuit from South Korea last time over purposely or coming together purposely to inflate RAM prices or purposely divert all production to one specific group of things so that they can get inflated prices and reap the benefit of those inflated prices. Do you believe there should be some type of governmental action taken place towards it? And what is the actions that you are seeing being done to take place towards it?
I don't know if we. I mean, we probably should take action, but it's hard to say because we need AI. We need this stuff. Otherwise, we're not going to be a competitive country. I don't know. We should do something about it. I don't want overinflated RAM prices. I mean, I'm literally talking to you on a custom PC right now, so obviously I don't want
Mm.
that kind of shit. But at the same time, we tried stuff like the CHIPS Act, which obviously didn't do any regulation, but it also we're still in a chip shortage. I don't know what kind of regulation we
Yeah.
could do. Maybe we could just tell the AI companies that they're driving the RAM prices up and they gotta
Or
like
why doesn't he go like, for example, Taiwan. Taiwan itself, it's protected by us due to them having valuable chip manufacturing, like
mhm.
TSMC being manufactured based there, and that gives them their own protection bubble or guaranteed protection from us, which I believe they do deserve, and they are a counterweight to the China bear or China sea monster that is in the Asian Sea. Um, but I believe TMC, believe that should not be monopolized on just Taiwan. I believe it is a security risk for our global supply chain, and I believe they should be forced, not given an option, but forced or given it some type of incentive for them to build more TMC manufacturing or start to build TMC manufacturing, chip manufacturing in the US, where it can be started and upscaled.
I agree with you 100% on that.
And then once again, I did see one thing I did see a little bit ago. I the start again on nuclear power or incentive for it.
Yes, yes.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I heard that Trump is doing something with that. He's gonna ramp up nuclear energy, and people are all out
Well,
here crying. They're crying, saying it's gonna be like
he said all
nuclear
forms of
catastrophe.
energy. It was
That's
all
good then.
forms of energy.
That's good.
Um, but specifically on nuclear energy, I believe that is the best form and the best thing he could do now. Because the problem is that, and this is made known by many nuclear scientists. I can give you a few, let me just pull it up. But nuclear energy that we're arriving on is that it has been drawn out and taken away so much that we are getting to the point where we don't actually have a basis of people. Well, we do still have a basis of people that know how to run a nuclear facility and stuff like that, but we don't have the basis of people enough to have just like how we had when the first nuclear boom popped up, where we had thousands of startups hitting left and right to start nuclear facilities. We don't have that now because of the drawn out and strain that the government has put onto nuclear manufacturing, nuclear research, and such on. Um,
Yeah.
and I forgot who it was, the nuclear scientist that made the very good point that um, although the U.S., I forgot the exact name for the nuclear checking department or the
It's because
department
of
that
fear,
checks.
though. It's because of fear. We've had lots of nuclear catastrophes. I believe we had one in Pennsylvania as well. We had
Yeah,
some all around the world. Thank you for that gift. But yeah, we've had them in the U.S. I forget the name of the incident in Pennsylvania. People have fear about it. I talk about this sometimes, and people keep saying that there's going to be another nuclear meltdown or a nuclear catastrophe. I don't. They're much safer than they used to be. Even one of the nuclear sites had issues before, and it like the whole thing crumbled, but it never had a nuclear meltdown or a nuclear reactor meltdown.
and it's not even that. I feel like it's because there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to nuclear energy. When people think of nuclear explosions, the first thing that comes to their head is what? Chernobyl, right?
Yeah,
And the problem with Chernobyl and comparing it to, for example, nuclear facilities that are run here, is that the Soviets had very degraded technology, very lowly spec technology, very low degraded, and they were really putting anything together to get by. For example, when the Soviets were helping Yugoslavia to get their nuclear bombs so they can be deflected, be able to be, effective partner, they themselves were having trouble trying to replicate or help the Yugoslavians, and it later on it obviously couldn't wasn't being able to be finished because of conflict politically. But that's the problem. Like we see times, like for example, when you see countries that were allied to the Soviet Union, you see them get like bombs shipped to them. For example, Cuba. We didn't see Cuba create a Ukrainian or a uranium manufacturing base. We didn't see that. What we seen was that they were sent. They were already made, and then they were sent to Cuba. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but nuclear weapons are a lot. Are you talking? You're talking about nuclear weapons, right?
Yeah, but what I was trying to get
Nuclear
to is
weapons are a
that
lot different than like I don't think people are
yeah,
worried that someone's going to turn a nuclear power plant into a nuclear
yeah,
bomb
yeah, yeah.
because
But
like
what I was getting to
go
was
ahead.
that the Soviets had drastically less technology and knowledge when it came to these type of things. They literally had to steal the technology from us to even get the chance to even start to replicate it. So the problem is that people go to Chernobyl when they think of nuclear disasters, but they're not realizing that Chernobyl happened because of the blatant negligence of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union was not keeping up with its facilities. We see it with its ships during the Ukraine war. What was the ship that just got blown up? Or one of its elite ships that just got blown up by a drone from Ukraine.
Not to disrail the conversation, but what's up,
Yeah.
Surf Noel? This guy from Israel's in here, and he dropped shekels, and he wants to ask you a question. He said, "What did those Jews do now, or what did the Jews do now?"
Sure, they did everything. Um,
No, seriously,
and
if you had one complaint to say to someone living in Israel that was an Israeli Jew, what would you say to them?
um, in all honesty, I think what I would say is that I do not have any problems with you as a person. I do not have problems with you or any, I don't have a problems with me and you as allies. I don't have those problems. But the problem is, I think, concerning when lobbying groups, for example, like APAC, are created. I'm not saying that they were funded or anything like that, but when lobbying groups like APAC, because India has their own lobbying group, or a lobbying group that is made. A lot of companies even have their own lobbying groups that are made for their own policies or to promote or help promote their own policies getting out, or their own politicians that will support their politicians getting out. And it's not just like I have this blatant dislike just for Israel. I don't like the Indian version of the APAC either, or any other version of it. I just don't. I feel like you guys should have an advent distaste, or to have an advent or major movement to remove the APAC lobbying group from the nation of the US, and that will give you more of a better perception generally over the people.
If they get rid of, how are they going to get rid of APAC? Wouldn't that be America's job?
Well, no, I said movement. I said movement. I said movement.
What
I didn't say
movement?
they.
What movement?
You can always do a public demonstration.
He says, "I agree. What can I do about it, though?"
You can always orchestrate a
Public
movement within
demonstration
yeah, you can always do a
against the
public
ultra
demonstration.
like messianic Zionists, like the ones that want to take over the surrounding Muslim countries, or the people that are uh, like hateful towards other religions.
I wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't understand.
And you just
My
say he
friend,
should protest.
friend from school, and coworker, Charlie, Carly. Mhm.
He says he
We
doesn't
went out
believe
to
in.
dinner. We went out to dinner. Yes,
He
I am back.
he says he doesn't believe in protests, though. He says
Um,
protests don't
I,
work.
um, I'd say they just sometimes they do work. For example, Martin Luther, his protest it worked to some
But
extent.
it had to work with violence, though. That's the way he was able to do what he did.
Martin Luther King?
I mean, I'm not saying he was violent, but there was definitely a subsect of people that were following him that were taking, they were fighting against the police. They were fighting for equal rights. It was mostly the police doing violence on them, but
Well, there
occasionally
was
they would.
there was different groups within, or even the
Yeah, like the Black
that
Panthers was
movement.
pretty violent. The Black Panthers
Yeah,
shot
but
and
that
killed
wasn't
lots
that
of
wasn't
people.
but that but that wasn't we see that really affected or had the biggest effect or runaround was the March on Washington D.C.
Yeah, but like I said
and that was
before,
a that
the
was a
civil
peaceful
rights.
protest.
Yeah, sure, but the Civil Rights Act, there was also lots of violence that occurred with these protests. But sure, I mean, will even concede and agree. I mean, it's not really conceding because I agree. I already been agreeing that it's mostly peaceful, but there was still violence. And
Yeah,
also, here's
and but
another. Go ahead.
that violence led to even harsher, like Jim Crow laws and stuff such on put onto these people. So I don't think the violence even, well, most of the time helped. It really didn't. It just created even more of a divide.
I agree, but it put pressure on the government so they don't do as much violence and there's not much people dying in the streets, but it did create more divide. But he asked a question. He dropped another super chat. He says, why Gazans don't protest against Hamas massacring our civilians in dancing festivals?
Um, that's why I did I not answer that and like or talk about that in the very beginning
No,
that I
we didn't
didn't take
talk
a
about that.
stance. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, that should be something we talk about, huh? Right? I don't I don't have a stance when it comes to the two-state position. Because the two-state position, I feel like, is not of our problem. I believe that that is something that they should be able to fight to fend off. If Israel goes to war with them and they win, that's their war. They won. But I don't believe that we should back either side. We should let them fight.
Well,
Um,
unfortunately, we've quite literally been backing both sides. We've delivered aid to Gaza and we've delivered aid to Israel. So, it's kind of weird being on both sides of a conflict at the same time.
yeah. But I don't have a problem with, well, for example, you are in the MAGA movement. So, um, how do you feel about, for example, Charlie Kirk, who I know was a very big MAGA person? Would you
I
agree?
don't, yeah, I don't think it's Israel. I don't think there's any chance on this earth that that was Israel.
No, 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 not even that. But how do you feel about, for example, him in some of his podcasts or even in very publicly? I know at times he did at the very beginning he did very make it very boldly and state that the U.S. has this divine protection over Israel. But he stated, for example, in multiple podcasts or multiple talks that he believed or knows or sees or from after examining, he says that it is an basic genocide that is happening or
Oh, now
extermination
you're
of
cutting
people that
out
is
for me.
happening.
Hold on. This is my end. Go ahead, say something.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Would you
shit, what is
agree
going on?
that
Hello?
hello?
Are my headphones even still connected in, or are they just dead completely? I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. Let me just
No, I'm actually
disconnect them.
enjoying this.
Oh, I
I'm
can hear you.
enjoying this. We're
I can
talking.
hear you.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. It's okay. It's okay. I'm enjoying this. We're talking about a lot of things, not just like one topic. It's more like a discussion, and
What were
that's
you
what I
saying
really
about
came for.
Charlie Kirk? What did you say about Charlie Kirk?
Yeah, yeah. Charlie Kirk, would you concede that Charlie Kirk at the very in multiple times he said that Israel was committing a genocide in
No. He never
Gaza.
said that. I've never seen any clips of him
Can
saying
I
that there
pull
was
it
a
up?
genocide.
Can I pull it up?
I mean, yeah, sure, you can send it to me. I've seen him arguing, saying it's not a genocide. I've seen that in debates before. I don't think
Yeah,
it's a
but
genocide because a genocide is an ethnic cleansing, and there's two
yeah,
million.
that's what he said. That's literally what he said.
Well, there's
I'm gonna
two.
pull it up.
There's 2 million Muslims, Palestinians that live inside of Israel. They're judges. They're lawyers. They're in political power. So no, I do not believe there's a genocide going on.
So would you say that Charlie Kirk was wrong when he said that?
I mean, I don't believe everything Charlie Kirk said was right. I'm not even just talking about Israel, but yeah, I would say that that would probably be wrong. And also, he was working with Jewish people and some people from Israel the day before he died. He was planning on doing a seminar about anti-Semitism. That was literally one of his plans to do something later that week, a seminar for anti-Semitism. And he called
So you
anti-Semitism a disease of the mind.
so you would deny. So you would say that he was wrong for saying that it was a genocide,
I mean,
or
if
even
he,
coming to
it's
that
not,
conclusion.
it's not an ethnic cleansing. If an ethnic cleansing is the wiping of either someone based on their religious beliefs or their ethnicity. If there's 2 million Muslim Palestinians living inside of Israel and they've never had any issues with any of the Jews inside of Israel and they've been coexisting peacefully, then no, I don't think it's an issue with the Muslims or the Palestinians or whatever you want to call them. I think it's an issue with the Gazan mindset of terrorism.
Yeah. So yeah, you would deny it basically, and
No, I'm
that
not
you would
denying
say
it.
that
It's not
it's
a genocide. It's the
no, no,
only
no. Yeah,
genocide in
you would
history
deny.
where 250,000 uh, when the population raised by 250,000. It's the only genocide in history where a country is genociding, quote unquote, genociding a group of people and at the
Yeah.
same time
So
delivering them
yeah, hold up.
thousands of pounds of food and
Hold up.
literally giving them
Let
aid.
me. I have the clip right here. He says word for word ethnic genocide. Can I show it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Subtitles are on. All right. All right.
I can't see it or hear it. You can send it to me, it'd be better.
Yeah.
If you can just send it to me on
Okay.
Discord.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like a 1 second clip, and he says exactly that the. I'll read it word for word.
I
But
did a quick Gemini search. It says no, Charlie Kirk did not say there is a genocide in Israel, Gaza, or Palestine. Instead, Charlie Kirk was a vocal and staunch defender of Israel during his public appearances and debates. Are you
so
sure the
that
video
just wait.
can you send me the video that you're watching cuz there's a chance it could be AI and I want to put
No,
it
it's
under
not. It's an actual.
well, send it to me
I
then. I want to
think.
put it under an AI
Yeah.
analyzer or I want to see if it's clipped out of context. Because there's a big possibility it's either clipped out of context or it's possibly AI.
Let me see if I can send this to. Let me copy the link. Charlie Kirk on Gaza ethnic cleansing. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me take a picture of the link and then send it to you. Copy and paste the link.
Yeah, I sent you
Copy.
the link from Gemini. It says no, but I'll wait for it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean AI can't be wrong. Um. Why is it not letting me paste? Why is Discord acting up?
I'm not saying AI can't have faulty. AI is definitely wrong all the time, but I also want to see the clip since I've never
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
seen
Hold
it.
up. It's not letting me
I
paste
saw the
it. I'll
message. We're
just.
literally talking about the message, Dustley. We're literally talking about what you sent me. He keeps spamming the chat
Uh,
saying, "Oh, I sent you something." Yeah, I'm talking about it. It says no. Charlie Kirk did not say there was a genocide in Palestine. What's up,
uh,
Ak? I hope you're doing good, brother. Hope you're feeling better. Let's see. What did he
let
say?
me.
Because you're having a great
I
Saturday, Graham. Be safe, everyone. You don't have to read this. Too late. I read it.
here. Look. It's
Because the
Discord
clip.
is like not. Discord is not letting me type or paste. So I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna share my screen from my phone. Maybe if that would work better.
I mean, if I can just get a link to it, or maybe I can look it up on YouTube
Yeah.
myself. Charlie
Yeah.
Kirk.
Yeah. It's right here.
There was
Yeah.
a
Right here. Right.
genocide. Did
I
you
got
send it
it.
or you send it?
Here.
Okay.
Hold up.
Okay.
I found it. The exact one. Well, hold up. I copied the link and well, there's that. Okay, let me
Let's
send it.
see.
And then here's the full clip right here if you want to see if it's like out of context.
Hmm.
Here, right. Here's the full clip. It's 13, 15 minutes. Yeah, he says it right there, word for word, that it is an, and I quote,
I'm watching
ethnic
it.
cleansing. Yeah, I just wanted to see like what you would say.
Well, he doesn't use the word genocide, and he says that they need to remove the Muslim Palestinians out of the area.
Oh, he says exactly word for word ethnic cleansing. Let
Yeah.
me skip to like, he says
But
ethnic
he says
cleansing,
of
and you said
Gaza. He says of Gaza. For there to be a genocide, it has to be an entire ethnic cleansing of all of Israel, not just one specific area of specific
what?
Muslims.
Wait, hold up. No. You're changing the goalposts.
No, I'm
Yeah,
not.
of
There
Gaza.
isn't. There is an ethnic cleansing. They don't want any Palestinians in Gaza, but there's not an ethnic cleansing of. There's not a genocide on Palestinians. There's a
Wait, you just
genocide
said
on.
wait.
There's
Earlier
a
you just said
huh?
earlier earlier you just said that genocide is an ethnic cleansing, and he just said that Gaza, what's happening in Gaza, that's being orchestrated by Bibi and the Israeli government, is an ethnic cleansing.
Of a
So it's a
specific
genocide,
area
right?
of Gazans. No, I don't think
Yeah.
it's a.
No, he said Gaza. So is it not a genocide
No, it's not a
according to
genocide.
Kirk?
No, it's not a genocide. He never said it was a genocide.
He says it's an ethnic cleansing. Is an ethnic cleansing not a genocide?
I mean, he said Hamas committed genocide, and I don't agree
Yes,
with that
he
either.
said
I
they.
don't think Hamas committed genocide either. I mean, it depends what you mean by
Okay,
genocide.
yeah. So he says that they committed a, or they're orchestrating a ethnic cleansing. Would you agree? Or you're gonna say
No,
that
no,
that's
I
not
don't.
right? Charlie Kirk is
No, I
wrong.
don't agree. No, I don't agree.
Okay,
I think the words he
that's all
used were a
I.
little bit out of context. He never said it was a
I
genocide, but he did say that
said it
Hamas
was
was
an
committing a
ethnic.
genocide.
Wait, he said that they're committing an ethnic cleansing, and an ethnic cleansing is a genocide.
There's no other definitions for a genocide.
Ethnic cleansing. Oh, hold
Here,
on, let
no,
me pull this right here.
here's a genocide. Genocide is the intentional action to destroy a nation, ethnic, racial, or religious group in a whole or in a part.
Let me pull this right here. All right. Ethnic cleansing is the systematic forced removal of an ethnic, racial, or religious group from a given area with the intent of making the society ethnically homogeneous, along with direct removal of such
What
as
he said doesn't
deportation.
fit that definition.
He literally said ethnic cleansing, though. Those were the
Hold
words he
on. Oh,
used. He said that what they're orchestrating in
you
there.
there?
In the video I sent you,
Hold on, my
he says,
headphone's
and
still
I
not
quote,
picking you up.
all right,
Let's see. Try saying something.
hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. What were you
Okay.
saying?
So he said, yeah, he said, and I quote, all right, I will literally go to the time
No,
so I
I
can quote
watched
him
the video.
directly.
He said that they were doing an ethnic cleansing.
Yeah, he said,
That's
but the
not the
fact is
entire
now,
definition of genocide.
is an ethnic cleansing not okay?
That's a
Yeah.
small part of it, but they also have to be trying to destroy everyone. They're not trying to destroy everyone. They are trying
Are
to
they not?
ethnically cleanse some of the terrorists, huh?
Are they not trying? He said that they're committing an ethnic
Do you think
cleansing,
it's a
and you,
genocide?
me personally, I
Like I
have
told
no
you, I
clue.
don't care what Charlie Kirk said. I don't agree with everything that Charlie Kirk says.
Okay.
I made that pretty
Yeah,
crystal clear. I
that's
don't get my
yeah.
ethics or anything like that. And he never called it a genocide. All he said was that Benjamin Netanyahu would like an ethnic cleansing of Gaza.
He
Which,
didn't
by the
said they would
way,
like it. He said that they are doing. He
okay,
said
what
that they
about the
have
West
a
Bank?
mandate.
Okay, well,
The
what
West
about the
Bank.
West Bank? He didn't mention anything about the West Bank, so that's where another area where supposed Palestinians live.
You have a point. They do have the West Bank. And ethnic cleansing is just the removal of these people, the forced removal of these people. That would have been a better statement if you had said that ethnic cleansing is a forced removal. Meanwhile, genocide is the killing of all these people.
Are you familiar with the Armenian genocide? Because someone dropped a super chat talking about it. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah. What about it?
This guy is Turkish and he has a very strange perspective about it. He thinks the Armenian genocide was not a genocide, even though they killed 1.5 million Christians. He,
I'd say in response to him, I'd say that's why the Ottoman Empire is 0 for 1.
but here's his super chat. He says, "No, you could deport people, not kill them, like we did with the Armenians. Genocide is an ethnic
Yo,
cleansing." He thinks they
does he
deported
not
them. He thinks they just
does he
deported them out of the
you
country.
remember, does he not know that there's like actual diaries and everything from, like, I read that since like, man, since like way behind like middle school, bro. There was actual diaries and everything on it about what they would do. They would have these people walk out in roads, leaving all their belongings behind. The same thing that happened to the Jews during the Holocaust. And they would leave their belongings all behind, and they would just execute these people, and they would not let these people leave their area. They would not let them leave the place that for them to escape and go to a different region. They were not committing an ethnic cleansing, they were committing a straight textbook genocide. And it's not something that's like frowned upon. Like, for example, you know how in countries like Germany or Japan, well, mm, some people would argue different, but you know how these World War II countries, these Axis countries, they would to some extent, try to look past what happened in World War II, trying to look past their past. That is not something that is very vividly frowned upon.
I
That's
mean,
not
I've
frowned upon.
seen he has this one video of this Turkish guy saying that there was no genocide and it was all just yeah, yada yada yada.
Yeah, they don't have a problem with what happened. I'm not saying everyone, but culturally, the government does not have a problem with what happened. I mean, for example, like the Kurdish people, they've been kicked around everywhere. Everyone's gotten a piece of the Kurdish, but like the Armenians had a genocide done to them, and it's not something that's just quietly known. There's proof. There is very evident proof.
He said genocide is an ethnic cleansing, but ethnic cleansing is not a genocide. That literally makes no sense.
Okay, so the reason why a genocide is an ethnic cleansing is because in a ethnic cleansing is not a genocide is because the definitions differentiate. So an ethnic cleansing textbook is, or according to Wikipedia, is the systematic forced removal of an ethnic group. So it's not killing of the people, but just removing them. And it specifically
I
says
hear you,
through
but I can't hear you.
it says specifically through deportation or population transfer.
I can hear you now. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So an ethnic cleansing is due
No,
to
I get you.
deportation. Yeah, yeah. I was just talking to the guy that said that the comment that ethnic cleansing is a genocide, but a genocide wait no, a genocide is an ethnic cleansing, but a ethnic cleansing is not a genocide. The reason for that is because an ethnic cleansing is basically deportation. That's literally what it is. It's just to make an area more homogeneous or one people group. It's not the murdering of a people. Genocide is the specific forced murdering of a people, which is also removing that people, which is an ethnic cleansing, but it's removing them by killing them.
Yeah,
So
he
they're
also made
different.
that point. Yeah, he made that point too in the comment. He said, if, but I kind of get that. If they deported Gazans to Egypt, it would be an ethnic cleansing. Yeah, the only problem with that is Egypt closed their borders. I wonder why.
Yeah, because it's not good to have a lot of immigrants to enter your country.
And also, Saudi Arabia banned the Palestinian flag and said they don't have any time to deal with terrorist ideology, that they want to become the most modern and innovative Muslim country in the world. They don't have time to even think about this kind of stuff.
Speaking about that, since we like touched on Armenian, Turkish, and other things, what is your opinion, for example, on things like China dominance in the Pacific Sea? What do you think about that?
Like, what do you mean their domination in the Pacific Sea? The Pacific Sea, probably not good.
Um, um, Specifically, what I'm talking about is future projection. What do you see the paths hitting of the two nations? For example, the US future projection and the Chinese future projection, specifically over dominance of the Pacific Sea. Where do you see it going?
What do they say about it? I mean, what are their predictions?
No, I'm asking you, like, where do you see things going? Where do you think see things happening that are happening wrong right now? What do
I
you
don't
think
know.
about that?
I don't pay attention to that, so I don't know.
But would you say, oh, so I'm guessing you don't have like that. Okay.
I don't look at that.
Would you
I don't know
say,
what's going on over in that sea. What's going on over there? That's why I'm asking. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. So so China currently is building up its navy greatly. Um, every time over consistently over decades, China has always threatened to, take back Taiwan. But specifically with the Iran war, there has been, for example, leaked photos of buildup in the strait next to Taiwan or on the land next to Taiwan. We've specifically seen the buildup of these giant transport ships that are built to carry tanks, equipment, infantry, and such on, and they are all built up and positioned in next to Taiwan. And would
So
you say that the battle for Taiwan would be a meaningful battle? And do you think the US would be able to win with its current defective navy?
that's gonna be that's gonna be a difficult battle. A lot of Americans would die. Thousands of Americans would die if we do win. I think it would be
And
possible because I think our technology probably blows theirs into the dust, even though they hype up their Chinese bullshit. But I think we could. I think we could protect it probably, but it would be very very difficult, and it would
and
probably be.
also,
It might lead into World War III. Most likely, it would be leading into World War III as well.
yeah. And then touching about that, since we are on the basis of Trump and right whatever, what did you think about the Trump, for example, the Trump class battleships and stuff like that?
I don't know, but do you think putting military ships near a border of a country is an act of war?
Um, Not inherently, because due to international law, if one is positioned in international waters, and international waters can differ, or
I'm trying my best to hear you, but I don't know what is happening with my headset. Maybe now. I know it just disconnected altogether. Are we back? Testing, testing. Hello? You there? Yeah, I still can't hear you. I'm getting sound on my headset, so it must be on your end. Let me try this, guys. Hello? Nope. Cannot hear you. He left. Maybe he comes back. If you guys have. Oh, say something. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. Well, what were you saying? Yeah, that's fine. If you put military ships on the border of a country or near the border, is that an act of war? Oh, they said they can't hear you now. Hold on. Let me test my settings. I think it's something to do with my settings now. Window capture. Um, let's see. Say something now. Try to say something.
Hello.
Yeah, they can hear you now.
Okay. So yeah, it depends because there is international waters, and if the ship is still within or resides within international waters, we see this, for example, in the South China Sea, where we do see a lot of conflicts or confrontations between Chinese ships, Filipino ships, and such on, um, conflicting in international water or in their own private waters. If the ship is in international water, under international law, it is not an indirect action of war. Now, if the ship was, or if these large group of military ships were placed in the country's like area, regional waters, then that can be used as, I say, a justification of some sorts of war, or a justification of conspiracy, or a justification for, curiosity of like, why are you here? But not direct war, I wouldn't say, but you can.
Oh, okay.
What do you think?
Uh, I think it's an act of an aggression, and I think it shows that we have some kind of military, possible military escalation in the future. I think it's a clear sign of possible military escalation in the future.
Yeah. So, but like, if the ships are in international water, would you take that as a sign of aggression?
I mean,
Because
a lot of
international
stuff is
water can
if they
get.
put it in the Gulf of America and it was still technically international waters, I would think that's an act of aggression. Yes. Just like if you put something in the Arabian Peninsula or the Strait of Hormuz, I would say that is like an act of aggression.
I mean, there's ships. Our ships passed through for a long time. Passed through the what's it called,
Yeah, but
Strait
when
of
you move
Hormuz, lots of
thousands of
time, and it wasn't.
Marines, yeah, but when you move thousands of Marines and Navy ships over there, then I think that's an act of hostility and that's showing that there's eventually going to be some kind of military conflict.
Yeah, of course. That if now when you're talking about Marines, when you specifically said it, like last time you said like if the ships were just like placed near their borders or whatever, I was thinking, two
Cargo
scenarios in
ships, yeah.
international water, or no, if it's cargo ships, I feel like that's suspicion because you don't necessarily know if those cargo ships withhold something that's dangerous or not.
Yeah, but military ships, you definitely know.
Yeah, you know the capabilities. I believe that brings suspicion, but not direct warfare. Because, that's that what if it leads to a false call and now you're in a war that's largely unpopular?
I agree with you, but I mean, yeah. I mean, what do you think we should have done about Iran's nuclear program? Should we allow them to develop a nuclear program?
The thing about it is it's very interesting. Um in me personally, I see it very interesting. I feel like we're in a very interesting position right now because from did you see the deal that was cut or that was made that's supposed to be signed by Iran
You're talking
and the
about the
US.
$300 million deal, or what are you talking about?
The peace deal between Iran and the US.
The one that never got signed, that they never agreed
Yeah,
to?
the one that's the
Yeah,
one that they're supposed to
I
sign
saw that.
together
What
in
about it?
person in Pakistan. In the deal, I believe it was giving coverage of some of the Strait of Hormuz to Iran, and I believe that is is I believe that's hurtful to the
I
US. I
never
don't believe
saw that, but
no
this deal
one.
is never going to pass in the first place, so I kind of look at it irrelevantly
Why do you think it's not going to pass?
because we're dealing with terrorists. and there's no clear cut leader of Iran anymore.
Well, there is a leader. His son
He
is the leader.
left. No, he's never been seen, and he's allegedly, according to Israel, has left the country. No one's seen him at the very least. So he could either be dead, left the country, or he's hiding underground like a rat. And not to mention, his lips got blown off, his leg got blown off, so he's permanently handicapped.
But even then, and that goes back to what we talked about last time about Muslim culture being inherently harmful, and you agree to that. Um, and the problem was that when the leader was killed, the supreme leader was killed. I believe we should have just waited waited for the new leader to arise before killing him, because he was already on the way out, and they already had a pre someone to replace him already, which was his son. But the problem was that the killing of him created martyrdom within Iran. And there are sects within Iran there, that do not like the establishment. There are sects within the who everywhere that do not like the Iranian establishment. They see them very as, oppressive and such on. But the problem of the killing of the supreme leader so suddenly was that it created martyrdom and united a lot of the Iran peninsula or Iran a lot to a common cause. But I do
No,
see the
but
benefit of it.
86% of the Iranians disagree with the IRGC. This is from international polls, so I don't think it really did. It's really like a small subsect of Iran, and we even have protesters weekly trying to fight against the government, and they're dying and they're getting executed. So I don't really
Yeah,
see
yeah,
as any kind
yeah,
of
and that's
unity. I
why.
don't think this causes any unity.
Well, we do also see protests, like large mass protests, right after his death, of them
Those were
protesting.
mostly Iraq. Those were mostly Iraqis and Afghanis that were pulled into the country. Most of those people were not ethnically Iranian, and some of those were people from prison. They let people out of prison early. That way, they can come and protest. They did all kinds of tactics. That's just a classic propaganda tactic. I mean, I can say the same thing. I can say, well, there was a group of people that were supporting Stalin, and they had these large protests supporting Stalin and opposing the Western forces. But that doesn't mean that was the majority of the people in the country feel like that.
So, do you believe we should have on the boots war? Or do you believe, like, just US on the boots war? Or do you believe that there should be a joint operation if we were to go to war,
Mm,
Israeli and US?
I don't know. That's a hard one. Probably joint operation. Maybe they can cover the airspace and we can have the ground. I don't know.
So, if, or from what the things look like now, it looks like just a US operation on Iran.
Yeah.
And me personally, I feel like that is not favorable. When we did went into Iraq, it was a joint operation with all of the with our EU partners and such on, helping and our North American partners helping us jointly together to defeat
Israel played a
Hussein.
role in that
Obviously,
too. But they didn't have
yeah,
the boots on
exactly.
the ground, but they had training and other facilities and other stuff that they were
Yeah,
offering.
exactly. But I don't believe that we should be able to go in by ourselves. I don't believe we should be the only soldiers on the ground. I believe there should be some type of Israeli soldiers on the ground, because I feel like if we have to feel the invasion, I feel like our allies or the people who are in the war with us should have to feel it too.
Well, how do you feel about NATO not wanting to help us anymore, and how do you feel about our allies not wanting to really help us anymore?
Um, wow, that's are you can you like specifically which event are you talking about? Because
I mean, there's a bunch
there
of
was a
different
lot
events.
of time.
Spain doesn't want to let us use their military bases. Germany doesn't want to let us use their military bases. The UK didn't want to help us, but they sent us a couple fighter jets and a couple forces. I mean, just the in total, just not caring from any of our allies whatsoever. Meanwhile, every time they begged us for help, we were supposed to jump at the gun for it. Even in situations like Vietnam, the whole reason we went over there was because of France.
Yeah, in all honesty, I feel like we should have a reconstructuring of our allies. If we were to be honest, the EU is very, very weak. They are drastically weak compared to the US. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. Just the civilians in America
And
alone, just the state of Florida, with the civilians, with the
they,
firepower and the guns that we have, we could take over like every single European country there is. Not even the
well,
military,
the
just the
problem,
civilians, just the guns
yeah,
that people like me have.
like the EU, in all honesty, if they were to help us, what are they going to help us with? I mean, look at UK.
Yeah, it's been taken over by
Yeah,
Islamists.
look, exactly. They're having their own gang problems and these problems going on. They can't even handle it themselves. They're resorting to press censorship and everything. Um,
You could say the
let's look
same
at
thing about Israel, though. They're in two active wars or two active conflicts against two countries, Lebanon and I mean, they're not against Lebanon. They're fighting the Hezbollah in Lebanon, but they're also fighting the Hamas in Gaza. You could say the same thing about them. That's how they look at it, at least, that they're in two active conflicts and could escalate from there. Their military is very stretched out in some ways or
I
another.
mean, comparable. I feel like in comparable to Lebanon and Gaza, I feel like they don't. It really doesn't take that much military effort. I feel like it doesn't. Um, and I feel like they are still able, even if it's minor support, I feel like they would still be able to help when it came to an Iran invasion. But
I mean, maybe we'll see.
specifically,
I don't think we should go in there
yeah,
alone either. I agree. But
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not totally
Um,
opposed to it, but I would like to see
yeah,
someone come in with us.
yeah, because the pros are is that let's be honest, the US is almighty and powerful, everything, right? It's powerful.
Hmm.
But the same thing is that when you have multiple countries coming together for a united purpose, each country brings their own pros and cons, but everybody can cover each other's cons by using their pros. For example, if Canada is good at, I'm not saying that they are or better than us, but if Canada is good at, for example, jungle warfare, obviously you're not fighting in the jungle, but if they're good with guerrilla warfare, and we're probably like maybe average or not the best at guerrilla warfare. We can use Canadian troops for those guerrilla warfare tactics rather than us. If we are better at just plain fighting or just mountainous fighting than the Canadians, we can draw the Canadians out, let them go do the jungle fighting or the guerrilla fighting while we handle the mountains. We can help each other's pros and cons. But when it's just one nation has to cover all of the pros and the cons. We would have to cover the airfield, the air, we would have to cover the sea, the land, everything, supply. Supply is terrible during war, especially during war. Supply is terrible. And it would be way helpful if we had allies to come in and bring their troops in because it would relieve us of the pool drain that we would have to take from our own population. Because you have to take soldiers into that war. People have to die in that war. And then that's going to drain your population. People are going to come back dead. But when you have allies helping you on the field, you don't have to put so many soldiers on the battlefield. And you can have some kids who are going to stay alive.
I agree
Um,
with you. I agree with you, but I think we're the best at everything. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. There are countries that
yeah, yeah,
specialize in certain things, and
yeah,
they
like
might have technologies that can save us here and there.
exactly. But I also do want to point out is that Um, there is a lot of technologies, like just commercial technologies that the government is not using, or they have like there is generals that are like or people that are being sent out to these companies to like get a contract with them. But I feel like they should have been if they were gonna go into this, they should have been secured these contracts with these people. These people already have provable products and capabilities that can counter drone warfare, super missile warfare and everything for a cheap cost to cost production and everything. And I feel like we should have already had that handled if we knew we were going to go into war. And I would label that to some sort of ignorance or budget. But back to what we were originally talking about, which was our allies with NATO. NATO just shown from the Ukraine war, um, Russia is really just a paper bear. He really is. It's really a paper tiger. Russia is not what it used to be. It's nothing like what it used to be. And it's nothing that we besides its spying capabilities, it's not really nothing like it used to be. It's not this fearful monster. It's not the Soviet Union. And I think people are
The
still
Soviet
stuck
Union
in
was
that
a lot
mindset.
weaker. To be honest with you, the Soviet Union was a lot weaker. I mean, you
I'd say
realize Russia has the second largest air force in the world behind America in terms of just sheer numbers and fighter jets.
Yeah, but let's if we were to like say non or ops if put in the fact that there's no obsolete aircraft being used in that number, the number goes very well down.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
we have tons of
back
obsolete aircrafts. I mean, tons of them.
our aircrafts are still working, so and they
Yeah,
still
and they're
have
still
fighting
working too.
capabilities.
They're
There's
still has
fighting
capabilities.
capability.
Well,
Their
so you're
fighting
saying they're lying
capability are
about their
most
numbers then? You're saying they're like showing pictures
I
of old
wouldn't.
jets that don't
I'm not gonna
fly?
say that they. I'm not gonna say that they not lying, but I'm gonna say that they wouldn't be. It wouldn't be the first time. For example, we talked about it in the very beginning. The Navy ship that got sunk by the Iranian drone, and this Navy ship wasn't just a regular Navy ship. This was one of the Kirov class Navy ship, or however you pronounce it, and it was hyped up by the government itself as one of the strongest navy ships in the Soviet's army. It was meant to be a carrier killer. It was meant to kill aircraft carriers. And the people on the ship, the literal diagnosis from the ship was that they couldn't even have the comms and danger notification on at the same time. So they had no clue that they even got hit until the boat started sinking or fire started burning. And they weren't even able to get to the one extinguisher that was on the ship because of budget cuts. They sold all extinguishers, or most of the extinguishers or equipment were not supplied to them. They only had one. And the only one extinguisher that was able to be reached was locked away in a cabinet area that was unreachable. So they literally, in their own statements or report, blatantly told that there was practically no equipment on the boat. It was mostly used for like, you know, scaring factor.
Yeah, this is a.
So
Yeah, I got about 5 more or about 4 more minutes now. If there's anything you want to wrap up with saying, because we've been on here for almost 2.5 hours.
I enjoyed this, man. I enjoyed it. I really did. Um, but is there any more super chat questions?
Nah, we'll ask them. If you guys have any questions or comments, you can drop some super chats or just drop any good questions. I'll see. I'll read one of the questions. Is Russia committing a genocide? That was one of the questions, but it wasn't a super chat. But go ahead if you have an answer for it.
No.
Why?
It's a blatant no. I'd say no because the literal goal of Russia is not to remember we went over genocide and ethnic cleansing. The goal of
Hmm.
Russia is not to kill all of the
It's to
Ukrainians.
ethnically
Like,
cleanse them.
yeah. No, ethnic cleansing is removing them or deporting them. No, that's
Yeah.
not their goal. Their goal is to keep them there. But the goal of the Russian state is to reincorporate Ukraine within Russia. It's to take away their singular identity of their own people, take away the identity of Ukraine as a separate people, and infuse them back into the Russian Federation.
I
Because
see
if
the
you know
same
what
thing
the
with Israel.
yeah, the Russian Federation is not one state. That's why it's called a federation. It's a
It's
combination, just like
republics.
the
Yeah.
US, of multiple different states and
Well, they're
places.
called republics, but yeah.
In tradition. Yeah, and it's called a confederation for a reason. And the Ukrainians used to be a part of it, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to reincorporate the Ukrainians inside of Russia. Um, but obviously, the Ukrainians do not want to be a part of Russia anymore. They want to stay independent. They want to stay um, themselves. And I believe that there's a problem with that. The West is taking advantage of them and giving them loans and stuff like that that they obviously can't repay back. Um,
I
But
don't
I
think
feel
we're
like
taking
it.
advantage of them. I think they're taking advantage of us by stealing our money and knowing they're damn well not going to pay it back when this has nothing to do with America. We shouldn't be funding this. They're not going to, they haven't done anything for us. They haven't given us any money. They haven't done nothing for us.
I mean, they signed Ukraine is very valuable.
They didn't
Ukraine
want to give us
has
the
a
mineral
lot.
resources.
Well, they did sign the agreement, the Trump agreement, that the mineral
They
agreement
signed
was
that?
signed, and
Was
we
it?
did
I'm going to
sign
have to
that, and
look
we got
this
it
up
approved.
now.
The
Let's
mineral
see.
agreement between
Did
Ukraine and the
Ukraine
U.S. was signed.
sign? Let's see. I want to see that. I'm really interested because I never heard. Did Ukraine sign the mineral agreement with the USA? Let's
Between
see.
Trump.
Okay, yeah, no, they did. They did sign it, but
Yeah, they
okay,
signed
okay.
it, and it gives us first rights on all of their minerals, even over what's it called, domestic companies. And Ukraine, if you know anything about it, it's also one of the number one wheat producers in the EU or in Europe. But it's one of the biggest countries in the European Union. Well, besides Russia, but it has one of the most amount of rare minerals used for chips, computer chips, such on. Ukraine has it, and it's competing with its minerals with China and Russia.
Is it going to
It's
generate us
rich.
more than 150 billion? I guess we'll find out.
But I think it's very valuable in with its minerals and everything. I think it's very valuable, and not only that, but just like during the Cold War, I believe Ukraine is the perfect deterrent for a Russia invasion into Europe. As much as I do not agree with us being like such hardcore allies with the European Union, I believe we can find better allies. For example, like um Canada and such. Well, no, they've become like a free open border state. But like for there's bigger players in the world like Brazil. Brazil's projected to supposed to be um a powerful player, but not even that. We've signed treasury agreements to hook the Argentinian money to the US dollar and stuff like that. So I feel like we should take a more stance on focusing on our own backyard before we can really focus on anyone else, because we have too many problems going on at home, like debt, um roads, infrastructure, such on. For example, the AI bubble, that we have really big problems that are going on at home. Like the US is politically divided, and I feel like we should focus on that first before anything else. What do you think about that, Euro?
That we should focus on our country before anything else. Yeah, absolutely. I even think that I'm all even for getting rid of foreign aid. Even
Getting rid of what?
foreign aid, we should focus on us first. I agree.
Yeah, I feel like we should focus on like our debt, for example, first. I feel like that should be the first thing before. Like, I don't have a problem with us going into war. I don't. But the problem is that now is not the time. Now is not the time when our navy is literally falling apart, or we don't have enough shipyards to fix our aircraft carriers or repair our aircraft carriers or even build new ships, aircraft carriers and such on. Like, we do not have the capabilities in the sea like we did before.
I think we
And
have
I
better
think that's.
capabilities, but you're right. We do have a lot of stuff that we can improve on.
Yeah, and that's why I had brought up the China thing, because China is growing. I believe by ships, just regular ships, um they have more ships than us, but by tonnage, we have more tonnage. But China is growing faster and faster. And they are, like I told you about the release of the ships and transport ships being released in the strait between Taiwan and China. China's made it very publicly. They stated it very publicly, that they will take back Taiwan, and they are planning back to take back Taiwan. And if we are not ready for that, if we are too stuck in the Middle East,
You know, we're
because
doing
yeah,
military operations every single day in Taiwan, right?
yes, but the problem is that if we are going to need all of our navy, almost all of our navy to beat the Chinese. if we even
If
are
that happens,
split
we're
two
probably
ways,
gonna go into World War III. That's
yeah, if
a
we
hard
are
call to make.
if we are split through two ways, we will not be able to win against